football, ladies and gentlemen. After a week being in the Himalayas skiing,
Yes.
he is back and he's got a little sniffle.
He's back.
He's got a little sniffle. Henry Hill, how are you doing, buddy?
Skied Everest, top to bottom. Did it. So,
Completed it, mate.
never been done before.
No,
But,
it is now.
I'm right. So you got the.
No, hasn't it actually been done before by the Red Bull guy, like literally in the last month or so?
Don't know.
Okay,
I'm not,
maybe that was Henry.
I'm not tapped into the skiing world.
Sorry,
really.
sorry.
Do you know what I've been reading a lot about recently?
Go on.
Is looks maxing. So
Have you been watching a bit of clavicular?
I'm here to
He's
mog
such a-
you guys hard.
I think you do it every week.
I'm going to
to be
football
fair.
mog. I've already frame mogged you, let's be honest. So I'm here to football mog you hard with my big opinions. We're going to be Spurs maxing today.
I'm going to be Jester Maxing.
Yeah.
Just be having a bit of banter.
Honestly, I just can't believe I've learned so
Spurs
many new
maxing.
words. Yeah, Spurs maxing. So we just
I
take the piss out of
hate
Spurs.
that this is a thing, man. I hate it so much.
No, it's in now. I'm converted.
Okay.
Are you hitting yourself in the face with a hammer?
Yeah, I've been. Honestly, this is so good. Mic one end, hammer the other.
Yeah, true, yeah.
No. Anyway, it's been an interesting few days of me sitting in bed thinking about other things.
Okay.
Just
Deserby and Jester Maxing.
Just deservy maxing. Yeah.
Yeah, God. Okay, Ben, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I've probably been Spurs maxing over the last few days as well. Just, yeah.
Just enjoy.
Sorry, that's really just thrown me off guard.
Yeah, I didn't think that would come up. How about we all just enjoy what we do?
Just enjoy it,
You know,
mate.
If you
Don't compare, just
have
enjoy.
a bag of crisps, you want a bag of crisps? Have a bag of crisps. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Don't spend hours doing this trying to. Anyway, move on. As you see by the look of this title, if you can read, we are going to be talking about the transfers that happened in the summer. I think it's a nice stage. Obviously, the Premier League is about to come back. To the start of April.
Yes.
And then we're going to be obviously having 7 games in the Premier League left. Obviously, lots to talk about in terms of Spurs. Will they stay up and all that kind of stuff? And we'll do that in the weeks to come. However, I thought now might be a nice time to look back at the summer transfer window and any of the guys that joined in January and kind of give them a ranking, whether it be an A, B, C, D, on whether they have been a success or not. Obviously, we're going to try and go through every single signing. So we might have to be rapid with a few different
Crikey.
clubs. We might have to be quick with a few different players.
Every
We'll spend a bit of
every
time on
player
everyone.
deserves our attention, Zach. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get frame mogged
So
by
get
everyone.
ready. We are frame mogging you for 3 hours. Is that the right use?
why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've never sounded older, but it's genuinely because I've tried. Anytime that stuff has come up on my timeline, I'm like, scroll. Do not want to watch it. Do not want to care about it. But let's do it. Okay, let's jump off straight away into Arsenal and talk about somebody who is definitely a bit of a mogger, Martin Zubimendi.
Yeah. He's mogged a few players.
Okay.
Let's put an end to that.
Okay,
Let's
yeah,
put an end to
agreed.
that. Okay, yeah.
Martin Zubimendi obviously joined from Real Sociedad in the summer. I think the fee was around 60 odd million quid.
Yep.
I think Zubimendi's actually been arguably their best transfer this summer, really. I think he's been one of the best transfers that happened in the summer for the Premier League. I think he had a little bit of a moment where a few fans have mentioned about whether he has kind of taken us to that next level. But I think he's been really, really good. There's obviously a reason why Xabi Alonso was desperate for him to come to Real Madrid in the summer. I think we've seen that for Arsenal. Like, I would happily give this guy an A.
Yeah, A for me as well.
Yeah. I think he's dropped off a little bit more recently, but I don't know if that's just because more football in the legs, getting to the business end of the season. But yeah, he's...
I also think of him, Declan Rice is so good next to him that sometimes his good work can get lost a little bit. Because Declan Rice is probably having one of the best seasons.
He's in for a player
Of an
of the
English
season
midfielder.
shout. Yeah.
One of the best seasons by an English midfielder in his position that I can remember since like the glory years of sort of your Franks, your Gerrards, etc. I think Declan Rice is performing that well. And Zubimendi. Also, the good thing about Zubimendi, great face, really good aligned features.
You agree. He's also come up with some big goals actually for them as well this season. Had a couple of those outside the box, like that volley against
Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest was very, very important. And so I think,
Good player.
easy A for
Good
me.
player.
Let's jump onto a player who was just a little bit cheaper than him, Eberechi Eze. And I think this is an interesting one, right? Like, obviously, maybe from a Ben point of view, we know he's not necessarily...
I've dropped the gimmick now.
Ben has obviously been rude about Eze in the past.
Rude. So he's being rude.
Well, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it.
No, the agenda's been dropped now.
I don't think it was totally invalid what you said at the time, but I do undoubtedly think he... And you do have to give like new signings a year or so sometimes to bed in. I do think we're beginning to see what an impactful player he can be. And I saw the goal live against Bayer Leverkusen at the Emirates.
What a
and
strike.
I was like, wow. Yeah, there are a few players in the Premier League with the capacity to score bangers like Eze at the moment.
Yeah, he has got. I think he's probably got the best ball striking in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's just so clean.
Is that ridiculous to say that? Maybe that says more about the Premier League, and not to take anything away from Eze,
Bruno?
but I still think Eze strikes a cleaner ball than Bruno.
He scored some
right
iconic
outside the box.
goals in the last 12 months.
But do you not? But it is as like let's fast forward to next season, first game of the season. Does Eze start for Arsenal? And
I
that's
think he
after a
could do.
transfer window. You know, they might they might bring in more players. They could end up bringing a left winger in. They might bring in another striker. Maybe they bring another midfielder.
Yeah,
does he start for Arsenal next season? And this is a guy that obviously cost over 60 million.
I genuinely think he could push Odegaard for his starting
Yeah, I
spot.
was going to say I don't know if I don't know how much the transfer window has that much to do with it, because I feel like it will just be again a thing of like who's going to take that 10 spot, him or Odegaard. Obviously, Eze has got the versatility to be able to play out wide, and maybe after he has bedded in a year, and if they go on and win the title, the kind of confidence that he sort of then gains from that of like doing it with the club that he wanted to go back to and prove everyone wrong, maybe you'll see him kind of kick on a little bit more next year. Like it has taken him a while to kind of to settle in. Crystal Palace fans always used to say, didn't they, about like March to May Eze, like it took him a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's actually injured now, isn't he? I think out of all the Arsenal players that all 11 of them that came back from international duty, I think he is actually one of the ones that is injured. So it'll be interesting to see how much of a part he does play between now and this time in a month or so. But
do you think he goes to the World Cup?
yeah, I think
he's guaranteed to go.
A couple of months ago, I would have said no, but I think recent form that's probably changed.
Given the fairly disastrous audition process for the number 10s over the past few games, I think I think Rory, the likes of Rory and Ollie Thomas have really killed it on their social media stuff over the England break, talking about like winners and losers. I'm now like, wow, it's Jude Bellingham. He's now
100%.
It's always Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, I know, but I got swept up in a little bit of the kind of he's not working hard enough on the pitch kind of thing. I'm now fully back in the Jude Bellingham camp. I don't know where. I've been shaken clean. Anyway, and the point is, I think Eze is definitely part
What
of that
ranking would you give
process.
him?
B minus.
I think C+.
C plus B minus. Yeah. Like he hasn't done.
Your face just dropped.
He hasn't done loads. Like
No, I agree.
I'm not even like I said.
60 million pound player.
The gimmick has been dropped. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
He's not. I'm not just saying this from a point of view of like being bitch about it. He's not done loads and loads, but he definitely has started to warm up recently. You've seen his quality, and also the thing is, if Arsenal do go and even like in games where he's not got a goal contribution or whatever, that Everton game, for example, where they were quite lucky to win that, I think, with Dauman and Gyökeres scoring in the last few minutes. Obviously an amazing moment for Dauman, but they did really struggle in that game. I actually thought that was one of his better games for Arsenal. I think he was kind of creating a lot, played a nice few little passes. So even when he's not contributing in terms of goals, I feel like his performances have started to just naturally, it will start to kind of improve anyway recently. So I'd say C plus B minus, but probably more B minus, because they're probably going to win the league and it doesn't really matter anyway.
You know what? If you just put C, if you made this to E and just had a C so we could put down the middle, that might just help things a lot easier.
He would. Yeah, he's fine. He's absolutely fine.
Okay. What, giving Eze an E?
No. He's saying that he wants to put him down in the middle. Absolutely fine.
C.
And then the really, really bad ones can go to an F. Okay. Viktor Gyökeres. Big money, 11 goals in the Premier League so far this season. I think it's 4 in the Champions League as well. What I will say, the last couple of months, I feel like he's picked it up a little bit. I feel like either the squad now kind of understand how he wants to play. He's arguably understanding how the squad play. Like, I don't think they are a natural fit anyway. And I still think in the summer, it wouldn't shock me if Arsenal go on and bring in another striker to challenge with him and to go and fight for that number 9 shirt. But considering at times I've thought this is arguably the worst move of the summer, I think it's kind of in the last few months
it's not the worst move of the
got
summer.
better, but I don't think it's anything more than a D.
He's the top.
I'd probably
C
say C.
minus?
I think because his output has been okay. I'm still not having him, really. I'm still not massively convinced. I know he obviously put a couple past Tottenham a few weeks ago and they were good finishes, but I think that's what, Tottenham defending like that in Tudor's first game, so open. It's like if you give players like an Eze or like Gyökeres that kind of space, then in the league that obviously Gyökeres was in, that's where he thrived, And his finishing ability is obviously very good, but it's not... There's been other games. The vast majority of games, he's been really ineffective. and not look threatening at all.
Does
but
it-
again,
again,
if Arsenal are 9 points clear in the Premier League, and his goals have contributed to that. So in certain games, like he got the winner. I know Dowman had the moment, and I know it was a tap-in, but he did get the winner against Everton by being in the right position to capitalise on that mistake. So if Arsenal do get over the line, which I think obviously they are, they're currently 9 points clear. The Carabao Cup final might have shifted the pressure dynamic slightly, but I think it has to be at least a C.
If he
even
gets,
though I don't rate him, I don't.
If he gets a few braces at the back end of the season, and you saw how good he was for Sweden in the recent international break, he's clearly growing in stature for like club and country at the moment. If he gets a few braces and helps Arsenal capture a few titles, then you go, well, I'm the top scorer.
Even in the FA Cup, say if he gets FA Cup semi-final or something like.
He will say, I'm the top scorer in a team that's had its best year in decades. And then like you can't really say, well, he was a bad signing in that point. So I think
Did he start for Arsenal next season?
It is a C. Well,
there's a world in which he doesn't. Yeah, I think you could be right. I think they might go and sign some, because I think Havertz is. I think there's a world in which Havertz leaves.
Yeah.
Just because I think obviously the injuries have caught up with him a little bit and he's not been able to kind of get back and
go back to Leverkusen or something. Like
that genuinely wouldn't surprise me. So maybe Arsenal do go and buy a striker that can compete with Gyökeres that's a different kind of profile, because I still think that although Havertz definitely does offer them something different to Gyökeres, Havertz is cleaner in the build-up. I think he's better at finding space in games that are tighter as opposed to Gyökeres, I think, who thrives more in like when the game is really stretched.
Yeah.
I think they probably should go and buy an actual, and also still not convinced that Havertz is an out-and-out 9 anyway. And Jesus will probably be gone, so I think that would be smart to do that. Maybe it's a younger striker, because Gyökeres is what,
27.
27. So he's kind of in his prime, so maybe they go and buy a younger striker that's a different sort of profile.
Julian Alvarez, go try and wiggle that tooth.
Yeah, I mean, a few people I think will try. Okay, so we're gonna put it as a C.
Fine by me.
C.
Yeah, I don't rate him, but I don't think he can be any less than that.
Absolutely fine. Okay, Noni Madueke obviously joined for just over, I think, £50 million.
This is a really odd
weird.
one,
Yeah.
because his output numbers are really bad in terms of goals and assists. But when you watch him, you're like, you are quite good. And again, I think he will probably go to the World Cup. I think he'll probably
nailed on. I think
because as a reserve wing option, just for what he does offer. So
and he's always played well under Tuchel as well, largely. So
I think by giving Gyökeres a seed with 11 goals, you have to give him a D, because the numbers, the assists, whatever, haven't been there. But he is going up against Saka.
I think Madueke could easily have a C category, because this is a guy who I think joins knowing he's not going to be the starting player. He's not going to be somebody that is going to be playing on that right wing very often. We might see him feature on the left. He has still proven quite valuable in moments in the Champions League. He had some very, very good
Athletic
games
club.
for them. Exactly. I think the funny thing is to look at it and go, Saka hasn't actually had that great of a season this year. But what they have been able to do is, if Saka's having a down period, or if he's out injured, if he's out injured, then they've got Madueke to bring on, and somebody that can cause a lot of issues. Like sometimes I feel it feels unfortunate for Madueke that he has been the person that's won the free kick or won the corner that then Arsenal go and score from.
No, he's
Obviously,
a
he doesn't
player.
get
I do feel like he
the
makes
data from
impacts in games. I think you're right. I think Bowen should start the World Cup. I think you're right. Madueke often does make an impact when you see him. He's had obviously a few bad moments where he's, hasn't had it twice where he's had a shot that's gone out for a throw-in and people have kind of like used that a bit to like banter him and stuff. But no, I think he does, whenever he comes on or whatever, I always feel like he could make something happen, but it's just not there in the numbers.
Given what's happening at Chelsea, I think he's come out very well from that transfer.
Yeah, I do agree.
Going to Arsenal and being replaced with like players like Gittins and stuff like that who haven't featured whatsoever or done anything.
Yeah,
I think Madueke's stock has risen highly.
He's got 7 goals and 4 assists.
What, Madueke?
That's in all
Oh,
comps.
right.
That's
In all
all
comps.
7 then. Sorry, C. C. What am I saying?
Yeah, let's go C. Maybe a C minus if we're.
I like Madueke. Good
Fine. And I also think like the future for him at Arsenal is going to be very positive as well. Like it's going to be him versus Saka for the next few years, isn't it?
Well, also like there was, I know obviously Eze and Odegaard have kind of, they are the front runners in that position, but they did experiment with playing Saka in the 10 and Madueke on the right. So although I'm not necessarily sure that is an answer for Arsenal long term, a consistent solution, it's an option.
Yeah.
So that's also unlocked that a bit. And he can play on the left. I think it's
If Arsenal actually, according to like all those dud gossip columns were saying, if they go and get Kvaratskhelia, if they go and buy Kvaratskhelia from PSG, I think I'd just become an Arsenal fan.
And Julian Alvarez. Shock.
Yeah, if they got those
Like
two,
every Fulham fan ever has two different clubs.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go. Well, Kvaratskhelia is my favourite player in world football, and I don't necessarily like PSG. But if he went to Arsenal, it'd be tricky.
Okay, then let's go through the others quite quickly on this one. Mosquera, I think it's an A for how much they paid for him.
B.
They paid under £15 million for him, and he's actually featured in a lot of games.
All right, then fine.
Yeah.
A, B,
B,
fine.
fine.
It's
A-minus,
annoying.
B+.
It's annoying to me that a slightly lower tier club didn't go in for him because I want to see him play more.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that like the Evertons of this world.
Or like Bournemouth to go and
Yeah,
replace like Housen or.
Because I
But
want to see
did
Mosquera
anyone
play
know
more
enough
football.
about him to go and do that? Like, he's played 14 times.
Yeah,
in
but you
Premier
say
League
that
so
like
far this
if
season.
Arsenal are looking at a bloke, a young centre back at Valencia, then a lot of other clubs are as
Should
well.
be,
It's
yeah.
not like it's not as if that's a hidden secret.
Yeah,
at that point.
they can maybe chuck a bit more money at it than Arsenal and go, okay, come with us for a couple of years. You might get
exactly.
an opportunity to move on.
Two interesting ones then quickly. Norgard?
Norgard's an E because he hasn't played.
Yeah, it's hardly played.
I think it's really sad.
Impossible.
I agree.
Impossible.
And the thing that
to-
a few times when Arsenal fans have said, if we've signed him for this reason of being a rotation guy,
Yeah,
for
why aren't we
midfield,
doing it?
Why aren't we
You know,
doing it?
they all really like him. When he comes
Yeah.
on, he gets a massive cheer.
Yeah.
But I think I get why he's done it. He's probably got a massive pay rise and he's probably quite influential behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So maybe he deserves respect for that. But it's just really sad that someone that I think we've all enjoyed watching play football over the
Completely
last
agree.
6-7 years is just doing absolutely nothing.
Kepa Arrizabalaga.
I mean,
what's the point in rating
D. Like,
My point is that he cost them the League Cup.
that? It didn't cost them the League Cup.
he did.
He didn't help it.
Well, Pep did a number on Arteta as well, to be fair. And also, I think not having Raya in that game, it wasn't just about the mistake. It was about the fact that City was so easily able to kind of pen them in terms of the press. Arsenal couldn't really get out because Kepa has nowhere near as good ability on the ball as someone like David Raya. So Arteta cost him it by playing David Raya. Sorry, not playing David Raya, but Kepa, with his lack of ability on the ball and the mistake that he made.
Given how nailed on Raya's position is, I always find it funny when they just chuck in the reserve goalkeeper.
I think it's
for
stupid.
these high-pressured situations.
Also, Kepa made mistakes in the semi-final
he
against
did.
Chelsea
Yep.
as well. Like in that first leg, Arsenal were 3-0 up, or were they 2-0 up, and then it went 2-1, 3-1, 3-2.
I can't remember, man.
Can't remember.
Do Arsenal own him? They do own him. Don't
Arsenal bought him, yeah. They bought
Yeah,
him
it was
for
like they got him for
5
peanuts.
million,
Like,
they?
absolute
It's
peanuts.
not that
4
bad
million.
having a goalkeeper of his experience as your reserve keeper, but well, it shouldn't be anyway. Anyway, sorry, Zach, let's not waste time.
D.
on that.
D. And then final one, Hincapi, who actually again has played quite a bit.
Yeah,
B.
very decent.
Yeah. Arsenal fans, there's always that famous tweet though, isn't there? Jesus Christ, where it's like he looks good, but they're always slightly afraid of him doing something wrong.
Wow.
I feel like Calafiori's a bit like that as well. They're both kind of like, I don't know. I think signing Hincapié has probably pushed Calafiori's game up a level as well, which is, again, it's kind of like the Zubimendi-Rice thing where I know they're obviously not competing for the same spot, but it's about the effect that those signings have on other
definitely.
players and their ability to kind of improve them. So I think very decent. I wouldn't say he's been absolutely amazing, but he's been good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it could be a Calafiori thing where next year we see the best from him because he's been playing in like right back a lot this year, hasn't he? He's not actually
Had a
playing
few
in
different-
World Cup Ecuador with him and Pacho at their centre back options. I think Ecuador going to be a bit.
Ecuador have a really nice team. Man.
They've got a good- they've got a good
really nice
Caicedo.
team.
Good team.
Okay then.
Ecuadorian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Caicedo is Ecuadorian, yeah. Okay, B then
Dark
for
horses. You heard it here
Hincapié.
One team
Over to
down.
Aston Villa. Over to Aston Villa.
47 to go. Oh, this.
Gusand. Evan Gusand. Obviously, he is on
He's
loan
gone.
to Palace right now, isn't he? But does that deal become permanent?
I think there's some sort of
some
option
thing.
/ obligation.
He was their most expensive signing in the summer at just under 30 million quid. What do we make of that then? He never really got
Well, it's
into
an
the
E,
team,
it's an
did
E
he?
then,
It's an
because
E,
at the end
isn't
of the day, Aston Villa are in financial turmoil. They're going to be in financial turmoil again next year. There's a good article in The Athletic about it at the moment.
Yes.
If their biggest outlay, like Aston Villa's business in the summer, is not good. Let's be honest, like Harvey Elliott, that's not, you can't even register as that because they've put themselves in a position where they bought a player where they can't afford to play him.
Yeah.
So that's now like an E as well. And then Gesson as well, a bit like their biggest expenditure. He's already left the club to go somewhere else so they could afford to bring in Tammy Abraham.
Yeah.
So it's like as much as Aston Villa are annoyed, and maybe they have an argument for it, you did have some money to spend clearly this summer, and you spent it pretty poorly. You've made decisions which are pretty poor. You bought in someone in Harvey Elliott who you almost instantaneously decided didn't have the minerals, even though I don't necessarily believe that, to be part of your starting team. I mean, who are the other signings they made?
They got They've signed Ozcan, just a youngster who's just not featured.
Is he the centre back?
Yeah. Douglas Luiz obviously came in the winter on loan. Tammy Abraham came in the winter just in 20 million quid. Bizot, the goalkeeper.
Bizot.
Victor
Bizot.
Lindelof came on a free. Jadon Sancho on loan.
I think Sancho's been okay. I think in Europa League he's had a decent part to play. I also think when I've watched Villa recently, Sancho kind of coming off the bench in certain games.
He's had moments. He's always had moments.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
I don't mind Sancho. Palace have got an option to buy Gesson, which I think is basically for the same amount of money that Villa bought him for. So they could end up getting their money back, which is, it's kind of, I guess, sums up what Villa have been doing in terms of wheeling and dealing a little bit.
But in terms of his transfer to Villa,
it's a massive failure. Yeah.
It's actually more credit to the squad they already have that every signing you've made has basically not lifted that team up. Like Sancho's shown bits of quality, but he always shows.
I like the Tammy Abraham signing. I think he's actually made quite a decent little impact so
he's been
far.
okay,
He's just a solid minimum 6 out of 10 every week.
I'd say he's been a C plus signing since winter.
How many goals has he scored?
3, 4.
God,
He has made 1 goal in the Premier League, 1 goal in the FA Cup.
Wow,
decent.
So maybe not so.
He's on
but,
fire.
But he has been a lot. He's the guy that come on after Ollie Watkins, isn't he? Like he's not the starting striker.
I actually think Aston Villa have done better this season than expected, given the state of their team.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree, and the start of the season that they had as well, where they didn't win for the first 5 games.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think I think we can almost judge Villas as a collective rather than going through individual players because I think none of them have really made necessarily more of an impact than the other. Maybe other than Sancho's, like I said, he's shown moments. It's just, and yeah, they have been hamstrung by PSR. They have also got themselves into that situation, but the Champions League football is essential for them this year. If they get Champions League football, I think they might start to be able to see the, sort of, what's the saying?
The light at the end of the tunnel.
Light at the end of the tunnel. That's exactly, Henry. And then they might start to be able to move out of it because I think they are
the beaver in the dam.
They are. I think they've done a lot of. I was chatting to a guy who wanted to do the overlap yesterday, a Villa fan, who was saying like they've they've renovated all of their hospitality areas. They've built like a new.
They're charging out.
Well, he was saying about ticket price. He was saying about ticket prices, which the Villa fans aren't happy about. They've built like a new warehouse thing outside the ground. There's like a match day experience for people to go and drink and whatever. They've also either they're renovating or extending the north stand to build the capacity of the ground. So they are doing all of these. They are kind of pulling these levers to make sure they're maximising their revenue, and I think there's going to be probably more outside of football events too.
Revenue maxing, aren't they?
They are revenue.
Stop. Okay, all right.
We'll give them that's a bit of a revenue maxing.
D maybe.
PSR has brutally frame mogged Aston Villa over the last few years.
You boys can take that. Okay, on to Bournemouth. Bournemouth made actually quite a few signings in the summer. We're going to talk about. I can't believe it. Gyökeres obviously joined in from Lille, the centre back.
Yeah. He was brilliant on his debut against Spurs, but I haven't really seen loads of it.
I feel like first half of the season I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And then the second half, he's a permanent bench option.
So yeah, with Gyökeres then, where do you want to give him out of A, B, C, D, E?
Well, the thing is about Bournemouth season is like 1 month they're near the sort of in 14th, and the next month they're back in 8th or 9th, battling for Europe again. So it's really hard to put a pin on exactly where they are as a team. Gyökeres, has he filled the void left behind by Dean Huijsen and Zabarnyi? No,
not really.
No, he hasn't. Is there promise there? Potentially, but they did spend a lot of money on him relative to a club like Bournemouth. 35 million, something like that.
Under, I think.
So I would give him a C. I think there's potential there. Yeah. And it was a bit of like it did feel like Bournemouth were kind of just put in a situation where they had to go and spend this money on someone.
Yeah, and rebuild their entire defence, basically.
And they were like, well, yeah, you'll do, kind of thing. So it is difficult. I'll give him a C, but that's mainly because he hasn't really impacted much in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think there's good potential there. He's very physical. If you kind of got a target man striker, he's good at kind of being at their back. Like I said, I remember we played them third game of the season. He was absolutely brilliant in that game. Like he has got all the capabilities to be a very good defender in the league. He's got physicality, he's got pace as well, decent on the ball. So I think he'll be good. It's just that he's been up. Yeah, he's been up and down.
Maybe it's the one for next season, isn't it? Possibly as well. Though again, he has featured a decent amount. Okay, Petrovic, the goalkeeper, obviously brought him in from Chelsea.
Yeah.
He has moments where he looks really good. He's had a couple of mistakes, but I feel like a lot of goalkeepers this season have had mistakes in them as well.
I would honestly, I know it sounds a bit silly, but It's a high B, A for me, because I don't think there's been any question of like him being bad. I don't, as in, he's almost gone so under the radar.
That Manchester United game.
What, a couple of weeks ago?
No, the one at Old Trafford.
Yeah, but you're allowed
the 4-4
ago. Yeah, he had a bit of a stinker.
I think he's been a lot better recently, though. I feel like he's kind of got a lot of those mistakes out of his system. I feel like this run that Bournemouth have been on, where they've drawn how many? They haven't lost in like how many games? Is it like 13? But they've drawn a lot of them. He's been very, very decent. Like Petrovic, he made a brilliant save against Man United from Fernandes, I think, a couple of weeks ago. That Friday night game. I think he's very decent.
He replaced Kepa, didn't he? Right, like Kepa was there last season.
Arguably an upgrade. I know Kepa was like, again, I think if Kepa goes to a club like Bournemouth where there's not necessarily as much pressure and the spotlight's not on him, I think you can see Kepa is a decent goalkeeper. But I think Petrovic is definitely an upgrade.
I think
happy with that?
For a signing like the thing of it is a Petrovic signing for Bournemouth. I don't think any clubs are going to come sniffing around for him anytime soon.
Yeah.
So you've got a £20 million goalkeeper who's pretty solid, who I think you can kind of safely assume will be at your club for a while. And I think for a club like Bournemouth, that's worth its weight in gold sometimes.
Defo. Okay, I'm happy with the B. Over to Ryan. Came in January.
So
for him, just under £30 million.
Hey, he's been picked for Brazil.
Already got 2 goals and
Neymar.
an assist in the Premier League. Featured 8 times for him for
The
Bournemouth.
overlap were right about you.
He's really impressive, man. I mean, this is a guy who Bournemouth have got a £100 million release clause on him.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking get in there.
I
rate that.
He's very, very talented. I mean, you just watching him. I mean, some of the goals he's already scored are absolutely
Some of the goals he's nearly scored, like against West Ham, where he picked the ball up from inside his own half, just basically ran the length of the pitch and hit the post.
A fun player to watch. Really, really exciting.
Him and like Eli Krupi, they've got such a funny little. Sorry, they've got a funny little attack building.
Yeah, very nice.
Can I just quick like Rayan picked for Brazil? This whole Brazilian thing about Neymar just should automatically be picked if he can walk is such an interesting concept. Imagine being like Ancelotti, one of the most experienced managers of all time, most successful ever, being like booed by your fans because you're not picking a bloke who's finally put a string of good games together for Santos, like a 34-year-old.
Yeah.
It's quite. That's not to like discredit Neymar at all. But when they're like, no, he's just like the fundamental beating heart of Brazilian football. So he's trying to build a team.
Get ready for the Neymar watch-alongs. That's what's going to happen.
It's where people like I think Neymar has been massively disrespected, obviously, and I think a lot of the recent media kind of narrative around that, some of the stuff on the overlap, etc., like people just saying that, people just dismissing him, calling him a YouTube player and all those kind of things. But again, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Between like he shouldn't just be a guaranteed pick because don't get me wrong, I'd love to see Neymar play at the World Cup.
Yeah,
I think from the romantic in all of us wants to see that, but you got to think head over heart here. And I think Rayan, he also like in the Premier League, he's so strong as well. He's not like he's this kind of young, nimble Brazilian winger that's kind of come in and had to sort of like, okay, it's going to take him 6 months or whatever. He's really tall. He's really big. He's very good with his feet. He's got all of the skills that you kind of want from a Brazilian. He's got that bravery, that fearlessness to go and take players on and make things happen as well. And he can cut it physically with the best fullbacks some of the best fullbacks in the league. Like he is really, really exciting.
So A, happy with that.
100%,
Ben Doak, I feel for him because he did come at a decent fee, but he's done his hamstring. He's been out for a long time now. He's done his hamstring again, actually, did it at Middlesbrough last season. So hopefully he's able to come back from that. I don't think he's played enough really for us
DNF, impossible to rate.
Yeah, right. I'm just thinking we might have to get a bit more of a move on with some of these teams. Obviously, the young centre-back, Miloslav Salovic, 18, 19 years old, got him in at cheap. He has featured a little bit. When he has featured, I think he's looked pretty good for
big
how
prospect
old
for the
is.
future.
Yeah, a very big prospect for the future. And they got him at a decent little fee. I think he's played 7 games in the Premier League so far.
Crvena Zvezda, was it? Crvena Zvezda.
I thought it was Red Star, wasn't it? I think it's Red Star.
That is Red Star.
I've been done.
It's the Inglourious Basterds thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The 3.
True fair.
Oh, he's
very
an A.
decent.
A.
Yeah.
Do you know, he's been in my fantasy draft team from week 1, and he's just there picking up 6 points every single week. I said at the very start of the year that Truffaut is an unbelievable signing for what they paid for him, especially with Gyökeres being pretty piss poor at Liverpool. Truffaut,
They paid 12 million.
former captain of Rennes, a fairly reasonably capped French bloke for the France national team. He's like Luca Digne times two. Him and Digne are just like the same bloke, just running around. And Digne's having a weird resurgence again.
He always does, mate.
Yeah,
Villa do this
the
thing
impossible man to sell. And
every year, Villa tried to replace Digne. Every year,
And Cash.
Every year, Digne ends up being the starting.
I'd agree. Very good going
Then
forward.
Matson
Good
has kind of
crosser.
got
Solid defensively as
Trafford-
well.
Trafford's an A.
Yeah, 100%.
Jimenez, who they got on loan from AC Milan this season, I think he's been quite impressive at fullback. He's been pretty good. I think he's at least a B.
Fine.
And then our final one is they had bought him in the previous window, but he's now here. Junior Krupi.
A.
Yeah, he is exciting.
What a
isn't
player.
he?
Sharpshooter. He's a bit of a throwback kind of striker, I think. He's if you look at like his goal map or shot map throughout the season and his variety of finishes, and again it's the bravery. It's like these young players that kind of play in the Premier League just take into it like a duck to water. His goal catalogue's so good.
The only thing that marks it down is it's like a classic multi-club deal where it's
like he should've
Lorient
gone from-
to Bournemouth, 10 million. Quite clearly a better player.
Yeah, going to make a huge profit on him when someone comes in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who Arsenal should go for in the summer. Well, if what we were saying earlier about like
I'd
a
like him to maybe
younger,
just have another year at Bournemouth. I think that would be nice.
I think
but
De Zerbi, mate, he would be a good second striker.
Okay, over to Brentford then.
Quality.
Dango Ouattara came in at a decent fee here, 40 million quid I think it was. And I remember actually being quite critical of the transfer, more so for the fact they spent a lot of their budget on someone who, again, no one quite knew what he'd
I
gone
remember
on
with the
to be.
Ouattara one, it was like he was
playing
I
fullback at
don't think
times
I was that
at
critical of
Bournemouth.
Brentford for it, but I remember just being like, this is an encapsulation of the problem with the amount of money that has been spent on like bang average wingers in the Premier League. But he's been decent.
He has.
How many
He has
goals
been
has he got?
decent.
He started the season on fire. I remember that for sure. He's got 5 goals and 7 assists.
Yeah, very-
in the
Oh.
Premier League.
Yeah.
Obviously, he isn't the striker there, is he? It's Igor Thiago. He kind of plays off him at times.
That
on
assist
the
that he
wing.
got for Thiago a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago against Wolves,
They
where they
formed
went,
a really nice
what a
partnership,
touch
man.
and pass. Yeah,
I'd say a B.
B, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Dango, I like him.
We're going to include him in this, even though I guess he'd joined before and he had
Igor Thiago.
featured. Igor Thiago.
A.
Yeah.
Got to be.
Why are we including him in this?
Well,
in a list with like 88 names, why are we including a player that was bought last year?
I don't think we need to say that much about him. Though. He's just been
he's
very,
amazing.
very decent.
Malambo hasn't really featured. Coyote.
Oh, is
A
he?
plus.
Absolute A.
A plus.
He's in the all-star signings of the year.
Burger.
Yeah, I feel for them because I feel for Brentford because I think he could easily be another one that's picked up in the summer by a club willing
City
to
or
play
someone like that.
60
There's
million.
like a sort of
50 million.
starting a new signings XI. I think he could probably slot in at right back.
Easily.
Trafford on the left.
Easily. Kellier in goal.
A.
They got him at a good fee as well.
A.
I think
Yeah.
been very, very good for
Solid.
them. Trying to look at Jordan Henderson. Free transfer. In the end, it's been pretty good.
At least a B.
Yeah,
At least
I'd
a
say
B.
B minus.
I actually said at the start of the summer, I was like, this makes loads of sense. They've lost experience in the midfield in Norgard, obviously. He's still got a lot to offer. I think people were, rightly in terms of questioning what he's done over the last few years from a morality point of view, maybe letting that cloud their judgment of.
I think we can let that go.
No, I know, but I'm
to
saying
sound,
that I think his reputation was suffering because of
Yeah,
that.
massively.
Rightly so in a way, but I think people were then using that to cloud their opinion over the actual signing because they don't like him.
He did a
What I
rare
mean.
thing, which is actually like step back on that a little bit. Like at least he went to Ajax. At least because he wouldn't
Yeah, I
have made
think
he
he-
wouldn't have made any of the money that he made in Saudi. I'm not defending his decision to
No,
do
of course,
that.
no. I'm not. I think we can move past it as well. My point is that I think people were letting their opinions of him cloud their opinion over the transfer.
Is he going to the World Cup?
Yeah, I think
Because it's
so.
really interesting to me that he would have been part of so many England
Since
squads.
2016.
But no one's like, was it Phil McNulty or something like that? I was reading all these kind of
Phil McCracken.
all these England teams, and when you look at like Mainu, Anderson,
Wharton.
Rice, Wharton,
James Garner.
Garner, etc., you do look and think, is there really room for Henderson in there?
It's the experience thing, isn't it, that everyone's always talking about? Like that experience in the dressing room, someone that's been there, that's done that, that
Yeah.
can like help with the young player. He's not going to start for England, is he?
This-
And England always do take 2, sometimes 3 players who are that role.
This is the thing. Because we've been used to kind of seeing it.
Yeah.
I don't really care because,
Yeah, I
like,
don't
as
care
much as it'd be great for James Garner to be given an opportunity. Like, I was, I think he's not ready yet. But I was talking about Archie Gray like a few weeks ago. I think give him another year, maybe he could be pushing for the England squad or whatever. But I think the reality is that it's going to be Rice and Anderson / Wharton.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
those are the
Mainoo.
three. Mainoo wasn't that great the other night.
I
I
know,
love Kobe
but-
Mainoo more than
But one friendly
free
game
Kobe.
in a B team doesn't
Oh, I
necessarily.
don't care.
mean-
The England
mean
stuff
that.
over the last couple of
Exactly.
weeks, I think
Exactly.
Henry kind of alluded to it earlier. I found the whole narrative around it boring. The media know exactly what they're doing to kind of push this anti-tuchel sentiment when we've drawn and lost a friendly that none of our best players were playing in. Basically, who really gives a shit? But I think my point is that I like James Garner, I like Kobe Mainoo, I really like those guys. But if Jordan Henderson is going to be picked over one of them just for the experience, when we know that none of those three players are going to play any really significant minutes, other than maybe Mainoo if he gets an opportunity, take Jordan Henderson for the experience. I don't really care.
Japan coming over here, doing the Calcutta double. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's absolutely,
Knocking out
it's
Scotland,
absolutely unbelievable.
knocking out England. Come on, Japan. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, then over to Brighton and chat about a few of their transfers. Pascal Gross coming back in the summer for $2 million.
It was in January, wasn't it?
Sorry, I meant that. Yeah, January.
Well, they have improved. So
They have.
B.
The
Credit to Hersler, by the way, for
yeah,
you know,
he's
he
under
was
a lot of pressure.
No, I still don't like him.
fair enough.
Costellos has featured 16 times, hasn't started 16 times, got 2 goals, 1 assist in the Premier League. He's a young 18-year-old striker. I think Brighton fans a few times have kind of called to maybe see him a little bit more than they have. However, they've also got a very informed Danny Welbeck. Who
I
is
interviewed
tough
him the
to
other day,
kind
actually. Costulas.
Okay.
What was he like?
Seemed nice. Seemed very
Okay.
nice. Him and Zimas.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got the Greek double. So
They did.
Greek
They bought the previous one in the previous winter.
neither of them really played. I think Costulas is an E, regretfully. But
Is it
again,
an E?
Just shout out to his face.
I feel like maybe D.
How
I think
much
he's,
is
he's 18 years old. Like, he was their most expensive signing. He cost 32.
Yeah,
but
like
this
30
goes
mil,
back to what this has been my
but Brighton
frustration.
signings are always for like the next season.
Yeah, but we've been
Mostly.
saying this, but also it's like the same argument you give to Chelsea. At some point, Brighton needs to buy players that will improve the squad right now. Like it's depending on what you actually want to see from them. Yeah, he's really young, but again, for Brighton to go and spend all that money, and it's not as if all their signings are working out now.
No,
Like, Adingra's
you're right,
gone.
you're right.
Gruder has not been a success. So the problem is we've glazed a lot of these Brighton signings to say, yeah, you're all going to work out and be really good.
We're just using so many phrases.
No, that's not.
Glaze is
That's
fine.
not.
Glaze
That's
is
fine. That's
Glaze is
fine. We've said, oh yeah, because you found him, he must be good. He must be good. I'm not like obviously he's a young striker, and maybe I sound like a bit of an arse saying this, but at some point Brighton need to buy players that are going to go into that team and take it to the next level.
Kind of what De Zerbi sort of fell out with him about, wasn't
Yeah,
it, really?
yeah.
Kind of wanted control over the transfers, and that's, you know, interestingly at Tottenham, apparently he's been given that.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
He's been given
Free
that
rein.
power,
We'll see.
which is interesting.
Shook hands with the devil to stay up for one more season.
Honestly. But yeah, no, Henry's right in the sense that I think Brighton do need to, you know, just
Okay.
the money ball approach maybe
We'll
needs
go
to.
rapid fire them through them. Did Kuiper? Actually, he's
he-
featured quite a lot. He's
decent.
been a good signing.
He's probably been closest to an A out of all their signings.
give him a B.
I'd say B. Watson, who they brought in from Sunderland, hasn't featured that much.
That was a gamble.
Yeah, it was a gamble. Coppola, again, brought in the summer, not featured that much. Actually think he's on loan now with Paris FC.
Yeah. Who's the other centre-half they brought in as well?
Boscagli, they
that's
brought
it,
him in on a free transfer. Again, had a few games, but not like, he's not getting into that starting 11, so D. And I think that's really the main ones from the Brighton summer and winter window.
Let's go to Burnley.
Let's move over then to Burnley. You're right, my friends. Ugchukwu. I actually think this might be their best signing.
Yeah,
B plus.
Decent.
Been a good midfielder for them. The
Playing
guy
sort of
who
further up the pitch as well.
yeah, it has been interesting. The guy who I said could be the worst transfer of the summer, Broja.
Yeah.
What do we make of him? Because he's, you know what? He's featured more than I thought he would.
Yeah, but how many goals has he scored?
So there we go. He's featured 20 times. He's got 1 goal, 1 assist.
E.
It was the biggest heist of the summer when Chelsea sold him for £20 million.
Yeah, insane.
When no one else was asked.
That's an A for Chelsea.
No one.
Yeah.
They must have said to them, someone else is about to bid this much money, so you got to go in for him.
Yeah,
It was
Burnley
ridiculous.
gone, fuck, we need to go and buy him now.
Chuana, the winger they brought in from Lazio.
He looks all right.
I think he looks all right. He's only got 1 goal, but
He was
there's
that
something
screamer,
there.
wasn't it? It was that
There's
absolute
something there,
screamer.
I think, within him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's-
don't know. Maybe it's like a C minus. Like
Yeah,
if
high
he
D,
stays with
D
them in the
plus.
championship next season,
Yeah.
he'll be a very, very good
Like
player.
it.
Bashir Humphries they already had before, so I don't feel like it's worth. He's just made it permanent. Hartman as well. 17
Don't mind
appearances
it.
so far
Don't
this
mind him.
season. 4 assists. Left back again. There's a few of these signings where it's like, look, I think Burnley also made them with the thinking if we go down, we can still keep these players.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't a lot of those assists like come in the first few months of the season? He was like on fire, wasn't he? And then he sort of tried.
Burnley are interesting because they are going to get relegated. I don't feel like they've been dreadful this year.
No.
I don't think it's not like
there were times in the first half of the season it kind of felt like they might stay up. They might be able to do something.
In previous years, the teams that get relegated, you think you're rubbish, but Burnley are actually something. Well, yeah, you just haven't quite got it really.
Yeah,
no, agreed.
Minerals.
Marcus Edwards, again, I think that was a deal that was a loan originally.
He played for the Championship.
Exactly, became permanent, but again, hasn't really done much in the Prem.
Really.
Fleming, Ian Fleming, bringing him in from Millwall. I think he's looked pretty good for them, hasn't he?
He's a pointsman on the draft.
And again, someone who I think will probably stay with them unless one of the new boys is willing to kind of take a risk on him.
Yeah,
unless Millwall come up and he fancies a little trip back to.
Yeah. Yes.
That'd
Very
be class.
Good point. And then Florentino, the midfielder, he's on loan.
Probably one of the biggest disappointments for me, considering how much we used to say that this guy was a £60 million central defensive midfielder when we were at Football Daily. We used to talk about Florentino Luis all the time, and he's come to Burnley. And it is difficult when you go to like one of the lower end football teams to stand out. But he's been, I'm really sad about what's happened to him.
Yeah. Brun Larson, the left winger, has played quite a lot, few games, 20 odd times now. Hasn't got a goal or assist.
Probably
did. Kyle Walker.
Probably.
Yeah.
Just been there, hasn't he?
I'd agree. Captain. Dubravka, I would probably give
a B.
B+, I'd say.
Yeah, I like Dubravka.
I've always liked Dubravka as a Premier League goalkeeper.
I actually think that's an A.
I'd agree. Yeah,
go for it.
Dubravka could easily just move to another Premier League team this summer. He's a very solid. I always thought he was underrated in Newcastle.
I was going to say maybe they shouldn't have got rid of him.
Yeah. Final two. No, they should. If they were getting Ramsdale's been fine. Tuanzebe.
I mean, great.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Tuanzebe just makes his move. He just makes that move though, doesn't he? He'll go from another one and then probably next season.
Wasn't Tuanzebe there last season as well?
He was at Ipswich last season, I'm pretty sure.
He's going to the World Cup. He's laughing.
Yes,
yeah, true.
He is. And then the final one on loan at the moment, James Ward-Prowse.
I don't think I've ever seen him.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Move on to Chelsea, boys. Let's pick this up. The pace.
Here we go.
João Pedro. A. Yeah, absolutely fine.
Brilliant.
Gittins.
F. Done absolutely nothing.
Been injured.
F.
Scored one banger.
Been injured since January.
Scored a banger? Just scored a banger, didn't he?
F for fuck all.
Been injured since January.
Next.
So I would say
I don't blame him
D.
though. I blame Chelsea for buying him.
Yeah.
I would say D because he's been injured for a while. He's not been able to play.
Well, he's an E.
Okay, Garnacho.
D.
Yeah.
If you're being really kind, C- because I don't think he's been quite as bad as people have made out, but he's done very little.
I remember when that transfer happened. I remember just thinking like, what?
Everyone was saying if you're going to do it, do it instead of Gittins.
And then go and actually buy another, a better winger.
Esteban.
Oh, he's an A. He's an A. There is a serious baller, as they say.
Are we going? I think it's probably more of a B. But then again, I think if you contextualise
18, been injured.
his age, maybe it is an A. Maybe it is an A.
Give it time.
I know what you're saying.
Give it time.
Actually.
He's a top. Yeah, he's a top talent.
The potential
I do really
is
like him.
The potential is A.
Yeah, I think B's, but yes.
Hato, Ajax captain.
You tell me.
I'm in. Probably he's a D, C minus. Like he's a young kid who I think probably thought he'd play more than he has. Hasn't really featured that often. When he has, he's had to come in and then like had the pressure of having to not make a mistake and has made a mistake.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of games where I thought actually there's a bit more, you've seen a bit more of him and he's looked a bit more comfortable. But yeah, it's probably a D. Liam Delap.
E.
Yeah.
D.
The fee with Liam Delap at 30 million was always the kind of saving grace of this.
Yeah.
That like he's someone that Chelsea could easily go and sell on this summer for I think 30 million.
Yeah, at least you didn't spend loads of money on him.
But he has been very disappointing. And is it maybe that shocking considering the system change that he's had, going from Ipswich side to a Chelsea side?
I always thought the jump was too big. I always thought he should have gone to a Fulham or something like that.
Yeah, well, Newcastle were after him for a long time, weren't they? And maybe they'll get him this summer because there is rumours that could happen.
They want another striker.
So I think you're probably right on that. And it's a shame because I really liked him at Ipswich. It almost feels like two completely different players now. Like watching him play at Ipswich, he was so like brutal and so like.
But teams would come on to Ipswich, wouldn't they? Because they were a newly promoted side. He'd get the space to run it.
He's not able to do.
I think he's a bit similar to Gyökeres.
Yeah,
I think he's a bit similar to him.
At times, you actually see him try what he was doing at Ipswich at Chelsea and he'll just give away a foul.
Yeah,
so
just bumbles
times.
into someone.
Yeah,
It's like
so
I remember
many
he scored a
times.
brace against Aston Villa last year for Ipswich. At the start of the season, where it was like, oh my word, like this guy.
Yeah.
The second goal in particular was like him picking the ball up the left
runs
channel and
with
then
it.
weaving it out. And
He's gone from
smashing it in
being the
corner.
star of a smaller
Reasonably
team,
priced car.
to a sort of bit part in a not quite Ferrari because you're not a Ferrari. You're sort
No,
of
you're a Ferrari that
it's like
keeps breaking
you're
down.
You're a
every-
nice Mercedes, not quite super.
Volvo.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Can I?
Okay, Kia. over
Can I?
there.
Yeah, fine. No, we're more like a Saab. Zach,
Saab.
the more interesting conversation. How do you feel personally about the likes of Cucurella and Fernandez coming out with their little?
I actually don't mind it. Like, I think they have every right to. Like, I think it's good to see them be honest with it. What I will say with Fernandez is like, if Fernandez was like, oh, I just want to go to Spain, fine, because there's a couple of clubs that might pick you up.
Yeah, just
To
keep.
go like, oh no, Real Madrid's where I want to go. It's like,
Yeah, it's such a beautiful
Real
city.
Madrid
Isn't it?
don't want you. Like, I don't see a world, and I don't see a world really. I can see him moving to like Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
I think it'd be quite good for Atletico Madrid. I can't see a world where Real Madrid go, you know who we need to add to our midfield?
Enzo
Enzo Fernandez. And Enzo Fernandez to go to Real Madrid and will probably not play for Real Madrid.
They also just don't pay big transfer fees like
No.
that, really,
No.
for players
No,
like
this
Enzo
is
Fernandez.
this is the issue of this whole model, right? Like, this is where players will now see the kind of effects of what they've signed on to, I guess.
Yeah, when did he
And
most?
have to-
Has he signed a new deal since he's been at Chelsea?
I don't think
No need,
so.
mate.
I don't
true,
think
yeah.
so. Yeah, literally no need. But yeah, I mean, with Cucurella, I think Cucurella's. I'm happy to see it, to be honest. Like, it's putting the pressure on the top dogs and the
Yeah.
board and like showcasing. They can ignore the fan pressure, they can ignore the pundit pressure, but they can't ignore the player pressure now, and they've got to kind of showcase something in this summer again, that like we're looking at the Chelsea squad and going, Chelsea need another 5 more signings to try and get to this place. But yeah, I think it's right. And look, they might end up selling Enzo Fernandez. They might end up selling Cucurella for sure. But I think it's nice to have seen the player put this pressure on. And I've seen some Chelsea fans be like, oh God, how are players saying this midway through the season, all this kind of stuff. I honestly don't mind it. I really don't. So absolutely okay with it. We'll rattle through them, the last few of Chelsea. Asugo, I don't think he's played enough, really. And actually, when I did see him play, I thought he was okay. Mamadou Sarr obviously came in the January window.
Yeah.
Haven't really seen enough. I think there's been moments he's looked okay. Like, he's featured a couple of times for Chelsea. Got ripped a little bit in a few games.
Yeah.
I'd say C- for now. Buonanotte. E.
Yeah,
F.
one of the worst transfers of all time. That.
And there we have it for Chelsea's window.
Honestly, Chelsea's transfer policy, it was like funny for a bit. And then this season, where they now needed to be taken more seriously, where they'd put themselves in a position where they'd won the Club World Cup, where they'd won the Conference League, where they had to really start trying to pressure it, go with the big boys. This is where it's separating like the men from the boys in terms of the backroom
Wheat from the
operations of the
chaff.
club. Because and I'm not surprised Enzo walked away, because he was like, you are not a serious operation. Do you know what I mean? It is Chelsea's transfer policy this year, and with the losses which they've now accrued. And I know I've seen in the comments people think I'm just being like grumpy and stuff about like deliberately recently, but like to lose as much money as you had, and with the result of that, and then to do the funny things like selling hotels, selling the women's team to each other, and then when you look at the money they've spent on unnecessary, pointless players,
Yeah.
just as part of this ridiculous Strasbourg, which by the way they've pissed off most of Strasbourg's fan base as well. At this
Yeah.
point.
Aren't their
It's-
fans
it's-
organised like a protest at Stamford Bridge or
supposedly,
something?
It's a
Yeah.
total
10th, I
joke
think.
the way that Chelsea have approached the transfer business market, and it's a total joke the way they've been dealt with by the Premier League. It's
100%.
Like, here's a £40 million fine. When other clubs like Sheffield Wednesday, when like the Leicesters of this world are getting absolutely hammered and will be in like situations where it will take them years to build back from this. For like Chelsea just to almost get away scot-free, and we'll probably see it again with City, I think it's a complete joke.
Yeah, I
it
agree.
really is. It is pathetic the way that the big teams are able to get away with this. And with Chelsea, it's just more annoying when us as like TikTok, whatever you want to call us, like creative footballers are able to go, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Like, sometimes I think there are not many intelligent people working behind the scenes at these big football teams.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I think there's a reason they're all working in banks and other situations, because they're not getting involved in this. Because it doesn't take a genius to look at these situations and go, Chelsea should not be spending the money on these places, and they should not be doing these little dark dealings to like glaze over that fact.
Yeah, and also like for what now? Because you're not winning anything. Like you won the Club World Cup in the summer. Yeah, obviously it was great, but you don't look like you are a football club that's going to go and kick on and challenge for the Premier League, win a Champions League, even like a domestic trophy.
People were saying that,
but you're not now. Like you're not.
For sure, but
and I just don't
fickle,
see,
though, isn't it? Like it could be 3 months' time, and people will go, "Oh my god, Chelsea now look amazing." And
but I don't. Yeah, but then in 3 months' time after that, we'll probably be saying the same thing again.
Football's so fickle. Though,
But that's what that's what happens when you buy all these young players. You can't develop that sense of consistency with no experience around them to help them and guide them through it. It's like Chelsea are kind of reaping what they've sown for their policy in the market, and it's just like for the amount of money that is being outlaid, for the amount of like, you know, sort of levers that are being pulled from a financial side, as Henry said, it's like it's not amounting to anything.
I agree, but what I will add in terms, and I'm just being more devil's advocate than actually believing this point, is I also feel like even ourselves, others have sat there in the summer and gone, oh well, maybe Chelsea's strategy has worked. You know, when Chelsea lifted the Club World Cup and when Chelsea had that did obviously lifted the conference, but the Club World Cup more specifically, I saw many of people like mention about how but maybe this is working now.
Yeah,
but the Club World Cup is an inconsequential trophy.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean anything.
It does, I guess, financially, for sure it does.
Okay,
it's over 100 million quid. Great. Well, it's more than you win for the Champions
League.
Losing.
You still lost a load of
money. But this is my point. Is just I think football is so fickle with this stuff. Where like, you know, if Chelsea were by say October second in the league again, and maybe they have brought in a couple of
players, but also like experience will tell you that we probably know now that
I don't know, mate, we said it before. It happens every year.
But if you look at Enzo's frustrations and one of the reasons he left,
I agree with him.
They win the Club World Cup, and then they're still just going out and buying these random players and then telling him that he has to play certain players to improve their market value.
I completely agree. It's wrong. Like it's so wrong. But then I have also seen people in this same world, you know, in the summer go, what are they doing over there?
João Pedro's successful because he'd been in the Premier League a long time. Like he was massive even when he was like a teenager at Fluminense. He's a god over there. Then he went to Watford. He was pretty good. Brighton, he was amazing. Like he has worked. He's almost like done his time working his way up through the ladder. It is staggering to me that the two oldest players in Chelsea's squad are Robert Sanchez and Tosin. Yeah. Like that can't be your point of experience. A goalkeeper that, let's face it, is upgradable, and a centre back who
is a bit part player.
What wisdom he's giving? Oh well, at Fulham, I used to nut away a few crosses. Like seriously, like it's nuts to me. It's nuts to me that is the experience in your squads. Honestly, bring Caballero out of retirement, get him in the squad again. Like, I don't know, just do something.
His experience is sitting on the bench.
Well, at least he's been around.
I do know what you mean. And look, you know, it feels like, according to reports, supposedly they're listening to that, and they might be adding to that.
We'll see.
They'll be adding some experience, but we'll see come the summer, and then I'm sure people will be putting Chelsea into third again.
On a massive deal coming in.
Okay, we do need to go through for the next 20 minutes, lads.
No. We told you, Zach. Every team is getting
the same treatment.
Yeah. Strad Larson, Winter, Crystal Palace, 50 million quid nearly.
Decent.
The money's absurd. But
it's been pretty decent.
And I put money on Crystal Palace to get relegated. They're no longer getting relegated. This weird Glasner divorce, which is going on right now, will be over soon. I actually think he is a bright point for any new manager coming in. They'll go, well, we've got a good striker up there. Yeah. Mateta trying to force his way to AC Milan for them only to discover his body's made out of Lego bricks. It's quite funny. So, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to give it A, B?
The money does hold it back. But again, if he is just a very decent, consistent striker for Crystal Palace over the next few years,
that's helpful.
50 million won't feel like 50 million because let's face it, 50 million isn't really. You know, it is an inflated kind of transfer fee. We all know that he's probably not worth that, but that is just kind of where the market's heading.
January deal off a relegation.
And to be fair to Crystal Palace, like they have, you know, there was a lot of question marks over them not showing necessarily enough ambition in the summer off the back of winning the FA Cup. That's why this kind of was all unravelled and spiraled with Glasner. Obviously, they looked like they were going to lose Gay. He did lose Eze. They are now spending the sort of money that, you know, that I think their fans probably wanted them to. I don't think it's worked out with probably a couple of the other players that we're going to talk about in a second. Yeah. But Strand Larsen's been decent.
Brennan Johnson.
He's been really poor.
You know what? I really feel bad for Brennan Johnson. I think his agents have led him down a dark path on that move. Well, I just think like he's gone somewhere. He's clearly thought he's going to be part of some good project. I just don't think it was a good time for him individually. Someone who's clearly like affected by criticism And he was affected at criticism.
Oh, yeah, 100%,
at
yeah.
Spurs.
Yeah.
To go to a volatile situation like he went into at Crystal Palace with real kind of discomfort going on, I feel very sorry. I do feel sorry for him, but he's obviously not shown. It's not his fault that like a club.
He's had a couple of moments for Palace. I was chatting to Ollie about this. It's like because I think Ollie was sort of saying that it feels like the criticism probably gone a bit too far.
Well, that's it, really.
But he hasn't really shown enough. He's been playing at right wing back in certain games as well because Palace have just not built that squad really in a way to be able to use. To be able to play when Munoz isn't playing. I think profile wise, as I said at the time, like I think he is a good deputy to someone like Assar who can run in behind when the striker kind of drops deep. He is good at that, but again, I don't know. Like it's just maybe next season. When he's
really,
if they're not in Europe next. Say if they don't win the Conference League and they're not in Europe next year when they're playing one game a week and he just becomes a bit of a squad option. Maybe he can be more effective and earn his way into the starting 11 a bit more, but he's not shown very much at all so far.
Okay, so we put him E. Yo Pino.
Who? Sorry,
Pino.
No, he's not. He's not shown
for
it.
me. Yeah.
He's had moments.
He's had flashes,
But where does moments translate on a scale of A to F or E? Whatever it is.
At the very most a C minus.
C minus. Okay.
I think D.
Canvois, the centre back.
I quite like him.
He's good.
B minus, C plus.
I think next year, Canvo's going to look like a real prospect.
Yeah, I like Canvo.
Borna Sosa.
F.
Oh god, I feel bad for the bloke. But
anytime I've ever watched Borna Sosa, even going back to the World Cup,
Macclesfield in the FA Cup this season, he was absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, I think he is.
I watched him on his debut. I think in the trophy, whatever that community shield, and he missed his penalty or something like that. I thought, it's never a good start. Yeah.
Gusan, obviously got him on loan. We've kind of mentioned Villa.
He's been okay.
Fine.
He's been okay.
We'll see what happens if they do make that permanent.
It's Strand Larson, Gesson, Johnson.
Yes.
I think there's quite a big gap even between Gesson and Johnson. I love Johnson, but it's just
Fair enough. Everton on loan. Jack Grealish.
Just one more thing on Crystal Palace. What's so mental is if they win the Conference League, like nothing matters. This whole season doesn't matter because then next year they start again and they're in Europa League.
Three trophies in the
year. This is what is so.
This is what football can be so fickle, man. That's all that matters.
This is why I'm like Oliver Glasner. Surely they're just going to him. Look, mate. And by the way, Strasbourg's main striker Pinicelli has just done his ACL. So like their main competitors, arguably for that trophy, have just lost their best striker.
Yeah,
Emega's still on his way back though. He's not a million miles away from being.
Who's that? Sorry,
the other striker. He's going to Chelsea.
Fine, but okay. The point is, surely and they look so crap against AEK Larnaca, and it's so funny with the comments of we never want to see this team ever again.
Yeah.
If Palace can just win the Conference League, which is not an easy thing to say.
It's not. Yeah, it's a respectable competition.
It's not ridiculous to say that.
I think they've got Fiorentina or something like that coming up.
Yeah,
it is Fiorentina. That's a tricky fixture. Yeah. But if Palace win that, their whole season is...
it's on Thursday.
Doesn't matter. It don't matter. Anyway, sorry, Everton. Let's go for it.
Let's go to Everton. Jack Grealish on loan.
Obviously, he's been injured for a decent amount of time
The
now.
loan, I think, is maybe a B. If they're going to buy him, I'm not so sure.
Do you mean the buy option's like 50 million? Yeah, so exactly. That's not being paid, is it?
Yeah. So I think maybe B minus.
I could
see.
He's had some good impacts for them.
He started okay, yeah. B minus.
Tyreek George coming in the
hasn't
winter.
Not really seen enough. Had a few decent cameos off the bench, but nothing.
Tyler Dibbling.
The big dibbers.
He was their most expensive signing in the summer.
Dib-dab. He's David Moyes hasn't really seemed to trust him so
D
far
minus?
as he. Yeah, probably. But again, I think he could come good next year.
He's the victim of the fact that they've just had such a settled attacking three
and
behind
Dewsbury Hall, Grealish, not getting past that minute.
Barry.
He's on the way up.
I think he's at least a C plus. At least. Maybe B minus.
I don't know about B. I think that's pushing it a bit.
I was very excited by Barry at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And
B minus is pushing it.
There was a point where I was thinking, no. But it's, as you mentioned, he's on the way up. I think he's starting to find himself a little bit more, get used to the Premier League, get used to Premier League defence.
He has sort of started to go back down again after everything that happened at the Arsenal game. And
yes, that's true. Yeah.
And then obviously against Chelsea when he came on, he got a very mixed reception to say the least. So, but the
other what's his face is now popping in goals. Beto's popping in goals like he's prime R9.
Finish against Chelsea was really decent.
Beto and Barry are like the funniest combo.
It's so Everton, isn't it? It's so Everton.
I don't mind giving Barry a C.
You know when you play those car racing
racing C
games?
is a bit too high for Barry. I like Barry, and I think there's a prospect there, and I do feel sorry for the way that Moyes has kind of treated him at certain points, maybe earlier in the season, and he also has had some decent moments, but I do
Premier
think
League
C
goals.
is high.
Okay.
You know when you
C
play those
minus.
car racing games and you got to get to the checkpoint to get more time to keep going. You got to get to like the little flag, otherwise you get timed out.
Yeah.
That's what their careers at Everton are. You just think they're about to die,
And
you
then-
think they're about to be over, and then they just sneak through and they got a little bit more
2 goals. Yeah.
elixir of life to keep going.
Okay.
Honestly, it's so funny those striking options, but I hope they do well.
Yeah, so do I.
Kieran Dewsbury Hall.
A, absolute A.
A+.
Yeah, he's been one. of those.
Absolute.
You mentioned that signing 11 could easily be in there.
He's a really good player.
Give it like,
He was always a really good player, man.
is he good enough for England? I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
let's maybe not for the 10s that we've got. Not for the 10s that we've got.
if Morgan Rogers doesn't do the business.
Slash fit.
Okay. A+.
100%.
Carlos Alcaraz.
Didn't they have him
See?
on loan last?
No, they bought him from
bought him,
Flamengo or something.
yeah.
like
No, he was there last season, wasn't he?
that. Yeah, and then they bought him permanently.
Yeah.
16 appearances so far this season. I don't feel like I've seen a lot of him,
course.
in all honesty.
Yeah,
He's
Charlie
had moments
Alcaraz.
where he's looked really good. I remember him obviously at Southampton
Yeah.
all those years ago.
Can we just get to Fulham? Come on.
Okay, yeah. And then, Fulham, which is going to last us 5 seconds.
No. I got planned.
But he's not played. Adam Azoun hasn't played.
Yeah, a few Everton fans have been calling to get him in the team, hasn't he? But
Yeah, but that's like the
Not
fullback
really
issue of
seen
Everton
it.
generally. Okay, let's then. If we've got one more for Everton, we have not. I don't think. Travers, the goalkeeper, hasn't really played.
They signed Mark Travers.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's
When did that happen?
the sub goalie, mate. Cool.
not
Okay,
know that.
on to Fulham.
Come on.
Kevin.
It's probably a C, but I do like him.
Yeah.
See, yeah, he's got the potential, doesn't he? Has the potential.
All I'm going to say is he scored a brilliant goal.
You
against,
know when he's stepping inside to let off that right boot and curl it into the far corner.
Wow.
He's done it about 20 times.
Wait till you see Ben Bowman recreating that in a few
Oh,
weeks.
God,
really?
yeah, here we go. I've
Yeah.
heard about this.
Wrap that in
I've
the top
heard
bins,
about this. Oscar Bob, obviously only just joined, has even he's not replayed.
That was I saw that in the week.
Honestly, it's the best song. And I can't wait for...
That's longer than he's played for Fulham so far.
Yeah.
No, he's been so good.
Yeah, no, he is very.
He's a B. He's a B.
And also potential alone, he's like he could basically be an A.
Yeah, and also to get him for like 30 million.
Yes.
Great signing that.
The Bayern kid's not played, has he? So,
Chukwueze, B.
Yeah,
No,
I like-
B, C, B.
I like
yeah,
Chukwueze.
Yeah. Okay, that is it.
I think with Fulham's business, it was almost like the criticisms
too late.
over it in the summer were just like how late it came.
Yeah.
But that you have some good players.
Apparently, you were in for, according to the Athletic, like you would have gone for Marco Silva, but because Fulham knew we
Yes.
were going to just like block that move.
Yes.
Didn't bother.
Also, he wouldn't have come now, like, would he?
No, I think he would have come if they'd
What,
agreed.
now?
I think he'd have definitely left Fulham for.
For Spurs now.
And then Spurs would have to
yeah.
pay Fulham.
But that was the point. Fulham were like, well, look, if you want him now, you're going to have to pay some stupid compensation
for
package.
how long his contract
So
is.
he can
Okay, over to Leeds then.
Leeds.
Statch.
Statch.
B
A?
plus at least.
Yeah. For Leeds,
I would
he's
like
been
Anton Statch.
amazing.
See, mate.
Just keep going.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening.
I think just go to get a tissue.
Oh, is his nose running? Apologies. Statch. A.
Yeah, very
I
decent.
think B plus A.
The general in that midfield.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Okafor. He's
Showing
he's been
flashes.
better than I think
Yeah.
he thought he would be. All
C
things
plus?
considered. Yeah, C plus. Happy to go for that. In the Premier League, he's featured 24 times, so
Yeah.
he has become a bit of a player for him. Bijol, depending on how you want to say it. Obviously, brought him from Udinese.
Yeah.
The centre back in the Premier League featured decent amount, 18 times. C plus.
Yeah.
Like if Leeds end up staying up, I feel like all their signings have ended up playing a decent
Yeah,
amount for them.
from memory, I don't feel like any of their signs have been
Yeah.
catastrophically bad.
Yeah, I mean, the goalkeeper Perry has featured actually more than I remember, 16 times. But then he's not really the starting goalkeeper now, is he?
No.
It's
Darlow. Darlow in it.
So, still, if he's not the starting goalkeeper, maybe C minus, D.
Yeah, maybe a D for him.
Longstaff. Obviously, Sean Longstaff, featuring in the Premier League 17 times, has had his moments there. It's funny considering his career at one point at Newcastle felt like he was going to be like the starting midfielder for them. I would say C.
It's been fine, yeah.
C for them. Gudmundsson, the fullback, Swedish boy, 29 times. Again, become a bit of like a useful player for like a guy that's always in there for them.
I don't feel like they've really done any like bad business.
No,
to be
I'm
honest.
just looking through.
Unless
them at
there's
the
someone
moment.
that I'm
Even
missing.
like James Justin is like at least
Justin's
a B.
decent. I think.
A B for them. We'll move on over to
Nemecha.
There we go. He is 25 times, 6 goals. I think he's also just like a really fun player as well. I think he's a B, quite honestly. A B for them. Calvert-Lewin.
I'd probably say a B plus, border on an A. Border on an A,
considering where Calvert-Lewin's stock was before joining Leeds. Wow. Henry Hill is having a mare here. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin could easily be an A.
But the fact he's basically been able to stay fit for the entirety of the season almost. Like, it's just, I don't think anybody really saw that coming. And you've seen, I think we all, what we've all said about Calvert-Lewin for years has kind of come true at Leeds, where it's like, if he can actually have a run staying fit, you're going to be able to see how good he is again. Because and that's why, like, he is a genuine option for an alternative to Harry Kane for England, because he offers something different to all of those English strikers. He works so hard. His technical ability is good. His link-up play is good. He scored a decent amount of goals. He's just a really likeable character as well. I'm just pleased it's worked out.
No one would have said that when he made that move. I actually think a lot of criticism was given to Leeds about him going for
because I think that would have been the case if anyone had got him, because it was it's a huge gamble, isn't it?
I think it really shows the jump from the Championship to the Premier League that Joel Perreault, who had a great season last year, hasn't even got a look in. Yeah. Even when Calvert-Lewin was missing, Farke must have looked at that and gone, "No, just Calvert-Lewin is just a lot better than this guy." Do you know what I mean? It's very interesting.
You saw it when Calvert-Lewin first came through at Everton, that there was always the potential with this guy that he was going to be a very decent Premier League striker, like very consistent, like your Solankis, those kind of guys that will just be solid over a number of years. Like, he was always, it felt like at worst he was going to be someone like that.
Yeah. Ben, do you think that Leeds are the teams to chase down for you? Because I'm beginning to think that Leeds are the one that you need to knock off.
Yeah,
because I think Forest, I think, and West Ham have got something about them. Leeds are also struggling to get a win. They're getting draws.
They're also not scoring, are they? Really, they're not letting many goals in, but they're not scoring. I think that obviously the interesting thing is Spurs and West Ham have both got to play Leeds at home. Interestingly, Spurs' game has been moved to a Monday night, and we know that Leeds always play better under the lights, which I'm a bit nervous about. But it is, it does also apply more to
this Monday night scandal is actually absurd.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got to play them at home. West Ham have got to play them at home as well. Actually, I mean, Spurs, if West Ham beat Wolves next Friday, we start that weekend. Well, we start our game against Sunderland in the relegation zone. But also, if we win, we will go above Leeds. I don't know who they've got though that weekend. So there is a chance that I think Leeds can be reined in. I do feel like, especially with the fact that we've got to play them. So yeah, Leeds are I'd say at the moment, Leeds are what I'm looking at.
All right, over to Liverpool.
That should be fun.
Alexander Isak played 10 times in the Premier League.
Scored 1 goal, 2 goals.
2 goals, actually.
I'm honestly, given the given the discomfort it gave Liverpool starting 11 at the start of the season, when it was clear that Ekitike was the better striker, given the money spent, and I'd almost go as far as an E, like, just because I thought it was an unbelievable signing.
I thought you were going to say an F.
Then he's been injured. No. I mean, obviously Isak will come good, and Sweden weaseling their way into the World Cup with Gyökeres and Isak is quite effective, really. Yeah, but I mean, it's just like such an. I think that £140 million, retrospectively, and I remember feeling weird about it at the time. I was like, you've just spent 70, 80 million, whatever it is, on Ekitike. That money could have been used elsewhere in the squad, to buy Gehi, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's an E. You're right. It will be interesting now that he's back training with the Liverpool squad. If he can make an impact for them to get into the Champions League.
The thing is, now he goes back into that squad with Ekitike, the undisputed starting centre forward.
Yeah, I mean, arguably he was that when he came back.
Yeah, but he wasn't though. He wasn't though because Isak was like, well, I've just come off an unbelievable season at Newcastle. Now Ekitike has every right to go. No, mate.
Yeah,
you're better.
I see that being a big issue.
Holding the shirt.
I see that being an issue next season.
Yeah, for sure.
And at the end of next season, one of those two will move on.
It's going to be very interesting to see how if it's Slot or how the new manager does adapt to that, because obviously salary's moving. Do they have to?
True.
Obviously Gakpo needs to be upgraded on that left-hand side as well. Do they move one of those two players out to the wing to try and get them both in? Do they go over 2-striker system? A lot of money has got to be spent to still further rejuvenate that attack with the loss of Salah and Gakpo's needing to be upgraded. They've got Rio and Gamoa, obviously, so maybe they're only going by one. How they fit them both in with the money that they've outlaid on them, I don't really know.
I can see the tweet now. I was promised things when I joined this club which haven't been fulfilled. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it already.
So. Okay, so Isak E for now. Maybe that changes as the years go by. Florian Wirtz.
C.
I fucking love
Plus.
Florian
I
Wirtz.
think he's a really good player, but it's just
Is he
again.
a C plus? Really?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we
he's
need
a
to-
C.
He's
a C.
over £100 million.
Zach,
Give
Zach,
it a rest,
we've done
Zach.
this about 12
100
times.
Give it a
million-
rest.
Okay, how much should a £100 million player contribute in the Premier League? Talk to me.
more than what he's done, but like he's not.
So
big-
C is like an average player. Has he been an average 120
The
million
difference
player?
is
no,
that
but
You've just given that to
no. Just with Isak, we're saying that we can see there's a potential of him leaving next year,
Yeah.
and we don't really see it as necessary.
There is no chance that happens with Wirtz.
You can very physically see that he's going to be part of that Liverpool team,
completely-
operating at a high level. I was going to say something else for a while.
World-class
Yeah,
level.
for a while, like Wirtz, and he also was quite injured in the last season at Leverkusen. He came in, he wasn't at 100% speed. We are beginning to see his link up with Ekitike, which has grown and grown throughout the campaign.
He's amazing.
I know. Like the whole transfer fee thing is applicable a lot of the times, but other times it's just not. And I'm like, obviously they spent loads of money on this guy, but I think we are going to see a very, very exciting player.
Yeah.
I think we are, and I think we are beginning to see it.
He's like a player who can't help them get in the Champions League.
Well, if they get Champions League,
But there's so many bigger issues at Liverpool than Florian Wirtz.
I agree, but we're looking at the individual transfer of Florian Wirtz to Liverpool for £120 million.
well,
I think it's just as simple as
It's a C.
for that money. Yeah, I agree. He should have shown more than he has, but there have been clear signs that once he's adapted to the Premier League after a year, and there is more stability at Liverpool, better players around him, maybe or not necessarily better players around him, but players that make that team more stable and more consistent to allow him to do what he does best. You've already seen one of the most important things that you need from a number 10 in the Premier League that Henry kind of touched on is that developing relationship with your striker. The striker's been able to kind of hit the ground running, yes, but maybe Wirtz hasn't in the same way, but there is that relationship that's forged in there that will be able to still develop over time. If Liverpool become a more stable team next season, more settled, Florian Wirtz will absolutely fly, go to another level, and nobody will talk about the money.
But should we be having the ifs about £120 million?
It wasn't 120 million. It was like
It was 120 million. Yeah,
Was it?
Yeah. Yes.
I feel better about Liverpool.
He was the most
I thought it was
expensive
like
player.
100.
No, he became the most expensive player, and then Isak. became the
Honestly,
most expensive
Zach,
I thought it was
player.
100 million. With like
Zach,
add-ons.
I feel better about Liverpool having paid that money for Wirtz than I still feel about Chelsea having paid that money for Fernandes.
Yeah.
Like
So you think Wirtz is a better player than Fernandes?
100%.
100%.
In the Premier League right now.
Right now,
Yeah.
yeah. I would honestly say yes.
I think so.
I think right now,
They're different.
So Wirtz right now could move to Real Madrid and it makes sense.
I'd be more. That would make a lot more sense to me. Wirtz moving
yeah,
to Real Madrid.
I agree.
Okay, wow. I would have him
I think
in
you're being a
D.
bit hard. It's not a D.
Bro,
not a D.
£120 million. I've said this a million times. I can see a world where he becomes worth it easily. Like he has the talent level to do that.
There we
He's
go.
not done it.
I also don't think he's
We're talking
like...
about what he's done now. This is what all of these guys could easily do better in the next season. Absolutely fine.
I think you're being.
We're
I think
looking
you're
at what
being.
they're doing now.
I think you're being off it with him.
I think the thing is that
being childish.
with this £100 million plus price tag, there is obviously naturally expectation, but players are bought.
Garnacho has more. Let me check that. Go
Yeah,
on,
I was going
go
to
on.
say players, but Garnacho's also got Premier League experience. He's also a completely different profile of player. Like you can't really compare them. I think when a player is bought for that kind of fee, you obviously expect them to be able to kind of put the team on their back and to kind of stand up maybe more than they have done. But Wirtz isn't that kind of player. Like Wirtz is a piece within a team. He's not a De Bruyne who is going to get up and down the pitch, get everything. Like you want everything to go through Wirtz, but it's kind of different. He's a very different style of player.
He is. And at times, he built his career at times off of being the guy that actually finishes things.
Yeah.
Like that's what he was at times. What he was
So maybe
doing at
Liverpool
Leverkusen.
players need to be able to actually create more for him. But I think Wirtz has also suffered because Salah's been massively off it. They haven't been able to have Isak for the whole season. Their
what we're
midfield
doing
other than
is
Soboslai
we're
has been
ranking-
really poor.
We're ranking the transfer. Like that's what we've got to remember here.
I think it's a C.
It's not a D for Wirtz.
All right, you
No
boys are C,
way.
I'm at a D. Let me know what you guys
it's an
think in the comments below.
I think
I'll tell you who I think is an A. Hugo Ekitike.
Oh, brilliant.
Amazing
Absolutely
player.
brilliant.
No, he's a C,
Absolutely
mate.
All a player.
He's a C.
Yeah.
How many goals has he scored this year? How many goals has he scored this year?
Garnacho scored
No.
more
How
goals
many goals has he scored?
Let's
here?
find out. Should we find out? Probably
10, 12,
probably,
10. Go on,
he
go on.
has not more than João Pedro, that's for sure. 11 goals. In the
11
Premier
goals
No,
for
that's
a 11
are you
goals for an
joking?
£85 million striker.
It's not good enough.
Oh, that's mental,
I think
Zach.
he's amazing.
No, Zach, that's mental. 11 goals for an £85 million striker. No,
Okay.
surely,
All right, wait,
surely,
where do you want to put him?
he's a C.
Okay, fine. Let's put him C. Let's put him C then.
No, he's
Absolutely
got
fine.
clearly an A because
Okay.
he's clearly a good player.
Yeah. Yeah, but showcase like
Honestly,
whatever. I can't be bothered to keep doing it.
why not? It's fun.
Because it's. I don't understand how you guys are looking at Wirtz and just refusing to almost.
I think you're acting like we're putting him in A.
We're not saying
we're putting him one level above you.
Put him in a C.
C is to say like C is the average. Like think about who else we put in the C so far in this list.
I don't think he's been that bad.
You think for what the value is what they've been bought for?
Did we put Eze in C? Who was like 70 million? Like
a bit less than that.
Liverpool are still in the hunt for the Champions League. They're still in the hunt for the top 4 in the Premier League. Are they still in the FA Cup? I can't remember.
Yeah, they got Man City.
They got Man City. So it's like
this Saturday.
It's not it's not as if I know a lot of people making out like as if Liverpool have fallen off a cliff this year. But I mean, how many
games have you come away from a Liverpool match genuinely in the Premier League this season and gone, wow, Wirtz? I actually don't know there's that many. Like I agree he has really good moments, but especially in the most recent run for Liverpool, my God. Do something in the most recent run for me. Like, in this Champions League run, Wirtz, okay, in this Champions League run, you're a £120 million player. Get Liverpool to the Champions League.
Let's hold Enzo Fernandez to the same standards for every single game between now and the end of the
Absolutely
season.
fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. I'm not sitting here saying I would happily agree to you that Enzo Fernandez is not a £120 million player.
Wirtz is also 21. Fine. Is he 21? 21, 22?
He is 22, 23.
I honestly would rather have spent that much money on Wirtz than spent the collective amount you spent on Garnacho.
Yeah, 100%.
No, it's not though. It's not because it's about how you're using your resources. It's about how you're using. You've already said that you can see how Wirtz can become that player. We've already said I don't think Fernandes will ever be a £120 million player, which also links into the argument of why we can see Wirtz going to please go to Real Madrid. Okay. None of the wingers that you've at Chelsea have bought will ever, in my opinion, be like a massive profit on what has been paid already. Like Wirtz quite clearly could become this player, and therefore I think it's justified why they've gone and bought a generational player like him. Yeah. Like even for Germany, he's going to be starting.
There also has been a lot of like nearly moments with Wirtz where like if he'd got, I reckon
there are nearly moments for Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah, but I rate Jackson.
Jackson's a good striker.
It's like, even you go back to the first half. You go back to the first half. No, but you go back to the first half of some of the Champions League. I reckon if Wirtz had at least like 5 more goals and assists, which he actually could have had.
That's a lot. In this season, that's a lot.
That's my point. Like you go back to the start of the season, there was when they played Frankfurt in the Champions League, where Salah doesn't square it to him and ends up missing that. Like all those kind of situations where Wirtz is free on the edge of the box, doesn't get a part. Like his teammates have also let him down as well because he is a technician, he is a creative kind of player, but he also a lot of the time for Leverkusen was a final action player where he was getting on the end of things, which is why
that also goes down to Liverpool.
When you've had when you've got a player like Mo Salah, who is a generational player in the Premier League, right? Arguably third most goal contributions in Premier League history, had his best ever season for Liverpool basically last year. When he falls off a cliff, who is someone that can create chances for other people, Liverpool midfielders arriving late into the box to get on the end of things, which we've seen with Wirtz, he does have that ability to do, although he's missed certain chances as well this season. If Salah is not firing, that despite the fact that Wirtz is a £100 million plus player, that yes, you want him to take responsibility in games, even though I think he's been decent in a lot of games that he's played at, kind of dictating the tempo, creating sort of chances, finding space. You still need the other players around you to be able to provide for you because he is a player that will arrive late, get on the end of things, crash the box. Like that is kind of what he made himself.
If we're sitting here criticising Liverpool,
he's not like a De Bruyne that's like going to totally just like I'm going to run this whole game. I'm going to get up and down the pitch. I'm going to put these.
But I feel your point backs my point. You know, we just sat a second ago criticising Liverpool for bringing in Alexander Isak because they've already got that, right? They didn't need to spend that money on him. And then we're sitting here saying, oh, but actually we've got to give Wirtz the benefit of the doubt because the players around him aren't helping him out. Yeah, but that's the same point.
No, but
which we just criticise Isak's transfer.
Well, no, we're not criticising Isak, but you're criticising Wirtz as a player. We're not criticising Isak as a player.
All of it. I'm criticising the transfer from the player.
But the way that Arne Slot wanted to develop Liverpool into playing this season, which was more of a possession-based brand of football, he needed more technicians in that team. Wirtz made sense. Isak didn't make that much sense when they were clearly lacking in other areas of the squad, which they totally neglected. But yeah, Wirtz has
that midfield. Adding Wirtz to that side has
made sense.
Well, I would argue that it's actually made that midfield weaker than it was last season for Liverpool.
But that's because they also haven't gone like...
So Bosley's been moved, who's been arguably their best...
But also McAllister was arguably one of their best players last season, who was again dropped massively off the cliff.
He has dropped.
So like Wirtz has got to do more, but Wirtz is also suffering from the other players around him not being as good as they were last season.
Yes, but also him being into that side and being a very different kind of player to what that midfield was last season can also impact that. Of
course,
that trio of Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and McAllister is now not a thing anymore because Wirtz is into that midfield. But Szoboszlai's been shoved out right back at times and still been their best player.
But again, I don't think these are things that we can hold Wirtz accountable for.
But I think you're right. You're right. But my point is that adding of him into the midfield has been the thing that has kind of changed things. Look,
Zach, I think you put up a noble fight. I think you really have, and I think there's many points, and I think we have to ultimately. We'll see. If anyone's still watching,
comments decide.
Yeah, if anyone's still watching, let the comments decide.
Jeremy Frimpong.
Jeremy Frimpong.
Let's move on.
I don't even ask.
Frimpong even? I think
no, it's not a first.
No. Frimpong's. If we're putting Wirtz at a C, Frimpong's at a D.
Okay, fair enough. But Frimpong was also that third.
Gyökeres has also been a D. Because even Andy Robertson has looked like he might be better.
Leone's obviously not played due to the injury, unfortunately. Okay, on to our next one. City, Semenyo. B.
A.
Happy with that. Reinders.
Oh, God.
B.
What could have been?
C.
Yeah, I think
C.
D maybe for me.
I'd say D.
Fine. Ait Nouri, been injured a bit.
Nico Riley
isn't even
Nico Riley is
left
literally
back
being
now, is he?
almost looks like an unnecessary transfer.
Yeah. So what? D.
Yeah, it's remarkable the trust that Pep showed in O'Reilly. Really, he's a top player.
Maybe that's more credit to O'Reilly actually.
Oh, it's not
Ait
nothing
Nouri.
against Ait Nouri, but he's just ascended into that.
Ryan Cherky.
A.
Come on, Cherky. No, well,
is it an A?
It's a B.
He's an amazing player. I agree. He's such a fun player, but I don't know if he's an A.
I stand by what I said earlier on the podcast.
like
in that
him,
I wish Cherky was almost playing for a team where he plays every minute because he's so fun. Like he's got, and we've known this for years. He was doing this when he was about 12 at Lyon. So he's a really, really exciting player. He's a B.
B, I agree. James,
I think I've gone a bit big on A just because I think he has brought something to the Premier League, which has been he's been very good for City, but also he's been brilliant for the Premier League, I think.
Yeah.
But B's fair.
And it's so funny watching Pep almost like tear his hair out over him all the time. Well, what a little hair he has left. Okay, James Trafford, F.
What?
E. Actually,
He's not an F.
With the League Cup win, sorry, tell a lie. D. With the League Cup win, D.
It's not like he does play a bit. He's not.
Does he?
Not enough.
He's played in the cup game.
D. I think
D.
D, but it's not a reflection on him whatsoever.
The thing is, Zach, with Trafford, and I know we need to get a zip on, but he has maintained value of whatever they paid for him.
They'll get back.
You can see another team coming. He is probably going to be the third choice keeper. He's currently more valuable, in my opinion, than Ramsdale and Nick Pope, two keepers that have shared duties at Newcastle this year. Trafford still looks like the more valuable keeper at the three when it comes to the Pickford, Henderson, him situation.
There'll be a few clubs I think that could easily pick him up and get a good deal.
I think most people agree that it's kind of really sad what's happened to him. It's very sad what's happened to him.
That interview he did, was it, what FA Cup game was it? Where
I know what you mean.
He came out.
He seemed a bit dejected after, but he made a great triple save in the final against Arsenal.
Oh, he was great against you saw the difference between the two sub goalkeepers.
Yeah, 100%.
If Fulham, I know we wouldn't, but if Fulham genuinely offered them 35 million and said time to move, because Leno's had a bit of an off season by his standards, that'd be just what a signing.
Yeah, I think if Spurs stay up as well, he's one that we should definitely look at in terms of. No, but in terms of what De Zerbi wants to do, playing out from the back, I think Trafford. Yes, he made mistakes earlier on in the season doing that, but I think under I think he can rise above that. Really, I think he's a good shot stopper. I really like James.
Donnarumma.
B
plus,
yeah,
A maybe.
Yeah. What I want to know what Pat Van Strassen.
Yeah, most overrated goalkeeper in the world. Apparently.
B.
To be fair, that did age annoyingly quite well the day after when he made that mistake against Man City.
Couldn't save a penalty against the Bosnians, could he?
No, should have got Vicario and go instead of too busy clapping about.
Good against us.
The big.
That is one of the funniest videos ever.
Gehi.
A plus.
I didn't mean B.
A.
A.
He's been really good.
Fair.
They've won a trophy.
Yeah, fair.
And he's been quality.
And they're going to reel Arsenal in like a big fish.
To Manchester United.
This is Manchester United. Senna Lamon's probably A.
Benjamin Sesko. That's my accent.
Sesko is a low B. He actually. The problem with Sesko is when they play him, they have to play slightly differently to when they play with other players. However, I stand by that he has come off the bench and scored some big goals.
Yes.
I am slightly bored of this whole wow, look at what Carrick's done. They are out of every other competition. They are playing the fewest games in a year that they've ever had to play. I accept he's done amazing things, changing the formation and sort of rejuvenating that side, but in terms of just being given the bare minimum to have to do,
I think the most impressive thing. I think the most impressive thing that Carrick's done is how he's dealt with the pressure of the situation.
Yeah.
In terms of
he's
turning
calmed
around.
everyone down, hasn't he?
I
he's
think
made the media narrative and everything, the narrative around it.
Henry is right. Next season, if they get into the which they will get, 100% get in the Champions League, expected then to be able to kick on, not go out the Carabao Cup in the first round to Grimsby, kick on more in the FA Cup. There will be more pressure on him, and then it's how he deals with that.
I don't think he'll be the manager next season.
I think he actually might.
Really?
I think they'll offer him a 2-year deal with a 1-year break clause.
I think it's Luis Enrique or
I think it could be. I think it could be.
Enrique signed a new deal at PSG.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's if it was going to be Enrique or I thought it was going to be Enrique or Carrick.
Maybe
I don't know.
Pretty sure Nagelsmann is enjoying his time at the Deutschland.
Okay, so Benjamin Sesko, I would maybe say you said B-. I was thinking maybe C+, but
I'd say B-,
there.
somewhere in there. I like Sesko.
Brian and Bermu,
probably an A.
A.
Yeah.
Genuinely, United signings have been pretty good.
Cunha actually started very slowly.
Yeah,
I think, but has managed to get himself to a B+, A.
Yeah, I'd probably say that. B+.
Salah Lamans, you're right. A.
100%.
And there, that's basically.
As Joe Hart told me,
it.
he just does the simple things well.
He does. Does them very
I love
well.
Joe Hart.
Newcastle United. I started.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Balls in the mouth.
Voltamada. Started the season.
What's happened to my?
Quite sad, isn't it?
What's happened to my blonde assassin? I
Is
don't
he a
understand.
C+?
Volta Messi.
C+.
I still think what he's shown he can do still carries some weight. I think
It's not
obviously
C+.
Eddie Howe's had a difficult time in terms of profiling him in the second half of the season.
But
How is it hard to profile a 6'8" striker?
That's what I don't. Bear in mind, I think Voltamada is
He
just
wants to drop, doesn't he? He wants to drop deeper and stuff.
but it was working at the start of the season.
I'm so sad because
We all went quite
It was
big.
like when Visser got fit, basically.
I thought he was the new boss man, but
Do you think they'll sell him?
I think
To who?
the issue is how they paid a lot of money for him.
But do you
Like,
know
who's going to have 90 million maybe to buy him?
Yeah, they can't expect to get their money back though. That'd be scandalous.
So where would you say, lads? I said C+.
It's probably a D.
I think it's a D.
Yeah, sadly, Volt Marder.
Wow.
Just look where they are in the league. They got embarrassed in Barcelona.
Anthony Elanga, you can take your crown here, Ben.
Been better recently. Been better recently, but D still. I'd
Yeah,
say.
fair enough. Especially for how much they paid.
Yeah.
Visser
F.
waited a long time,
I got a few goals, hasn't
but he was injured for half the season.
E.
I think it could be D-.
Yeah.
D-.
D.
Jacob Ramsey.
Probably been the best out of them.
he? Really? Don't know. It's the same.
No. Maybe other than,
no. The next one's been their best.
Oh.
Or even the one-
Chow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot about Malik Chow. Malik Chow.
I think
Malik Chow,
I think
Chow,
C.
Chow. Yeah,
plus,
I'm fine with
C
that.
plus.
I think they've actually looked a bit better with him in the
Yeah. Malik Chow, I think so.
B.
B.
I think he's made more mistakes than people have gave him. I think he's a bit
Agreed. But
overrated.
He's
but
also
good.
the cheapest signing that you've mentioned by about 10 million
Well, that's just what
pounds.
quite often happens when teams. It's happened with Spurs when we bought the 7 players after Gareth Bale. You always see it. Where it's usually the cheaper ones end up being the better ones. And you spunked all the money.
He's
This is another great example of it.
very good.
Okay.
He's been good, yeah.
I agree. B- maybe. Aaron Ramsdale now kind of got the starting shirt.
Yeah.
And I think a club as well that is
Suited to him, I think.
He was all maybe too not good enough where Arsenal got to, and then maybe too good for the likes of Southampton.
Yeah,
even though they ended up getting
100%.
relegated. So I think it's a good place, which is fine for me to say. What B, C plus. Okay, over to Forest. All right,
How many players have it? Oh, Jesus.
Amari Hutchinson.
Hope's been mould.
Amari Hutchinson.
Hutchinson, I know he's improved.
C.
Who liked him? Sean Dyche liked him, or maybe someone liked him.
C minus.
They will write a book about the curious case of Amari Hutchinson because
The
he's
boy
sort
that
of
could have been.
He's sort of everything that's wrong.
boy who lived.
He's sort of everything that's wrong with like the British transfer system. In that,
Yeah, 40 million they paid basically for him.
yeah, I like.
He was like fine at Ipswich. Like he looked good at Ipswich.
Yeah.
He's fine. He just needs to find a level and stay there for a bit.
Okay, so what are you gonna say? C minus, C?
Yeah.
Fine.
How many? Can we just do Forest as like one big? Unless there's some serious.
All right,
outliers.
Ndoye, Bakwa, Callum Wendo, who now isn't there, James McAtee, Igor Jesus, maybe is the one you want to say separately.
Yeah, maybe a C because he's done all right in the Europa League. Not that great.
Yeah.
He's
But-
done. Igor Jesus has done exactly what you'd expect if you'd actually looked at his numbers at Botafogo, which is he was a fairly low-scoring lump up front.
So what do you want to give Forest and just generally?
Well, I mean, just given where they were last year to given where they are now, like Forest's transfer business is like a D-, because it's destabilised everything at the club. It's caused multiple turnovers of managers. A lot of players like McAtee and Bright Lights have really not found their feet.
I really thought Callum would be decent, just Back was like shown moments.
Yates coming off from like obscurity and putting the club on his back at moments, and certainly against Midtjylland it's really Forest technically deserve to go down for how badly they've done football this year, and it's kind of just funny that they will stay up in many ways. But I mean, well, who knows?
I mean, Ndoye, like considering how much they spent on Ndoye,
is that funny?
They spent 40 million on Ndoye, and like again, he's a player.
I like Dan Ndoye. He's a good player.
He looks good,
Ndoye.
but as 1 goal, 1 assist.
Yeah,
like we've not seen the
impact.
Okay, we'll give them C-. Sunderland. We can rapid fire through a lot of these because they're going to be quite high. Diarra, brilliant in midfield.
Was that Habib?
A.
Yeah.
I think quite easily. And Dingra, actually probably the only one that we might give a bad score to.
Well, he's not even there anymore.
Yeah, so
he's at Monaco and D.
Enzo Lefebvre was already there. We won't do that.
Yeah.
Brian Robbie. What a game he had against Newcastle.
B+.
Agreed.
He's a bit of a lump. But
Talby, actually, interestingly,
good. I like
Talby. Again, maybe a bit more of a slower one to that Sunderland side, but
at least a C+. I like Talby.
Fine. Has Angulo played much?
I don't know.
I feel like he has. He is an Ecuadorian left winger who's played 5 times. So
interesting.
We won't count
not really seen that much.
Siddiqui.
Yeah, a B.
B+ as well. Xhaka.
Oh, no. Siddiqui's the one which most of the new Sunderland fans are like, no, he's the real deal.
Yeah,
he's the real deal.
Siddiqui
is an A for me.
Fine.
I think Granit Xhaka has to be above him still, though, just because even though Siddiqui maybe is the one that's not getting his flowers, I think having someone like Xhaka has allowed Siddiqui to do what he does best because of that experience. And
Granit's an A.
I'd say he's an A star.
He's in the signing of the season's XI.
He's the captain.
Exactly. He might be the captain. Might be top 3.
His interview the other day where he's like crying about it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Mukiele, A.
Yeah.
Really done well.
They're just all of these are just very, very decent.
Alderete, come on. Is this the way?
Alderete.
I don't know why that's not
Every
been a
night I've been
B+.
Yeah.
I feel like if Dan Ballon had just signed for them, I'd be giving Dan Ballon an A.
Yeah.
But yeah, B+. Robin Roos, A. I think that is Bertrand Traore hasn't really played.
No, he's been alright.
You
know what? Bertrand Traore has been better than when I thought he was going to be when they signed. When I was like, why have you bought this bloke in?
Yeah.
He's actually been better than I thought.
I was really excited about Adingra, and Adingra did nothing, and Bertrand Traore has actually been decent.
We'll give Bertrand Traore
this Sunderland window is the best ever promotion mega splash that I've ever seen.
100%. Yeah.
Because normally you look at that and you think this is going to be a total disaster. The money they've spent and where they are now, and they're still picking up points. Like everyone's like, you're just going to keep falling down. They've actually been winning a few games, drawing a few games recently. This Sunderland have probably had the greatest ever promotional transfer window of all time.
Yeah.
And for that, it's a big fat A, B.
Final one then, Ronaldo.
Yeah. Fine, whatever.
B.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Fine. Don't care.
Spurs.
Oh dear.
Okay. Oh dear. Xavi Simons.
D.
D.
Oh, do you not think he's got that good future like Wirtz? Do you think he could do something like Wirtz?
I
it's
agree.
funny you say that, Zach.
Also, he was like half the price.
Exactly.
There is quite clearly a player in there.
I agree.
But I mean, the difference is, as I said, Liverpool
I think he's a D.
are not having a disastrous season, whereas Spurs are genuinely facing relegation.
But Chelsea can all say the same. I agree.
Zach, can I say, you asked us to take a minute earlier. Can you take a minute? Because I'm beginning to see a lot of anger build up in you.
D for Xavi Simons.
Is everything all right?
Very underperformed.
He's been underwhelming. I think he's been misprofiled at times. I think the lack of the lack of the way that Thomas Frank played in that first half of the season was not suited to him at all. Had absolutely no midfield progression to get Xavi Simons in the sort of areas where he can affect the game. We didn't want to play through the middle of the pitch. So he's been dealt a bit of a shit hand. He's had poor performances. He's had a couple of really good performances where you've gone, here it is against Man City, against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, against Brentford in the Premier League as well. But yeah, we're not seeing it enough. Hopefully next season if we stay up. Be interesting to see how much De Zerbi likes him if we are able to stay up, because I think I think the way that De Zerbi uses his number 10s actually does suit Simmons because they're playing very much off the striker, getting shots off in and around the edge of the box, kind of combining with them. And I think that's where we've seen Simmons at his best. He's creative, but he's not necessarily a playmaker. I think he is more of a 10 that likes to play right off the striker. So hopefully next season he can kick on if we do stay up.
Kudus, maybe the highest ranking of them all.
B.
Yeah, B. Conor Gallagher.
What did PBS say? Crap.
Conor Gallagher.
F.
Which
is completely pointless.
Fair. Matthias Tell, making permanent.
Yeah, but C, I think. I really like Tell.
Yeah.
He against Fulham, when he came on, he was...
Showing balls.
He does. He's
Against
one of the few
Nottingham Forest as
players
well.
at times.
I really like
try.
Tell.
You see him trying at least.
Yeah.
Kevin Danso.
Yeah, C. Yeah, I like that.
Souza, just coming in the left back. Don't think he's played enough, really.
Play right wing and Anfield, for fuck's sake.
And then the last two, Kolo Muani on loan.
D.
Paulinho.
I think maybe it's harsh to put him in a D because I think that the problems... The problem with signing Paulinho is bigger than just Paulinho.
Yes, exactly.
I think it was like we should have signed a midfielder that could actually give us more progression on the ball. He's been some really poor in certain games. He was also pretty decent in terms of like his own performances at the start of the season, despite his own limitations. So I'd probably say a C minus D. We shouldn't have got him.
Yeah,
but it's just.
Okay, last two clubs then, because we've been going for over an hour and a half.
Good
so
stuff.
Hope you've enjoyed this one. West Ham, Fernandes. Probably been one of their better signings, I think.
Absolute A.
Oh, he's not
B.
an A.
He's maybe a
right,
B.
He's not A, is he?
Okay.
He's been really good.
He's been...
but they might get
and West
relegated.
Ham is still fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
All right,
He's
B.
been fine.
All right, B.
Tadibo made permanent.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Juve.
No, that's an A. That's a big fat A.
Why is Fernandes? Why did I get crucified for saying Fernandes was an A? I really like Juve, but like if Fernandes isn't an A, then Juve isn't either.
No. Juve has been objectively a better signing than Fernandes.
Why?
His whip.
Can't we just say they're both whip? Oh, okay, what about Fernandes?
Nah, Ben, you know what? I'm turning on you now.
Why?
You're getting
over Malik
this.
Juve, who I said is a really decent player and should be a B. Let's not fall out over this.
He's going big places.
So is Fernandes. I think. Both Bs, I reckon. Double B.
I think the two new boys, Pablo and Castanelos, are too early to give them a ranking.
Well, Desassi's not. Desassi's been decent.
I would agree, but
Desassi's
Castanelos only played 3 games in the Prem.
Okay,
So-
well, let's give Desassi a B because I think he's
Disassi a B,
he's genuinely
might end up being a permanent.
revolutionised their defence.
Matt Hermanson.
Probably a D.
I think he got off. He's an example of like got hammered.
I don't think he's as bad as a keeper has been made out.
He's been starting. He's been starting again recently.
Yes.
Maybe a D. Then, fine.
He's a D.
Okay. Adama Traore.
Some of the West Ham fans are not amused by this transfer. No, he's a big lad. Come on.
Be worth it if Nuno keeps him up though.
Okay, we'll see. I think D plus maybe.
Even though it's had nothing to do with it.
Magassa, the midfielder.
I quite like Magassa.
All right, I see.
But again, probably not seen enough.
Cole Peters.
Yeah.
C.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely
D.
fine. Let's leave it at that.
Some of the West Ham fans mouthing off about Graham Potter, like refusing to be happy for him.
Win the World Cup.
I find it honestly like
I'm quite happy for Potter.
All the West Ham fans are like, you wouldn't be happy for him if you saw what he did to our club. I'm like, if Graham Potter is the problem of your club,
Come on, lads.
get a grip. All these grown men being like, you can never be happy for Graham Potter. Like, shut up.
Final club. Strand Larson. Obviously to Wolves. They bought him in the summer and sold him in January.
If you're Newcastle,
What do we think of that deal, though?
you're not having it.
Well, it made sense when they bought him.
For a long time.
It made sense when they bought him.
Of course. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but they've got their money back, and then.
But what does that mean if they're getting relegated?
Well, you rebuild in the Championship.
I think it's a D transfer.
Probably, but they'll still be able to give it a rebuilding going on there.
Fer Lopez, someone we were actually quite excited
Done
about
nothing.
in the summer.
He's already gone back to Celta Vigo.
Yeah.
Arakudal, how do you say it?
Arakudare.
There you go.
Big lump.
Don't mind him
Don't
either.
mind
C minus.
I think C
Don't
minus
mind
is
him.
pretty good. Arias. You actually had a pretty good opinion about him, Henry, when he first arrived.
What
did I?
Well, you basically said that you don't think he won't be that good, and he's been not that good.
I'll take that.
I'll tell you, who's been all right recently. Adam Armstrong,
Yeah,
great finish against Brentford the other night.
Back in the Premier League for
who's got a bit of a future?
4 months.
Krejci.
Yeah,
Well, you go. Krejci, the centre back. He's on loan, but he's a permanent signing.
he's
from
been all right.
Girona.
Czechia's beating heart.
I think he could end up being leaving the club and going to another club in the Premier League or elsewhere in the summer. I think again, I'm fine with him being a C.
Yeah, I'll have to check on
Absolutely fine with that. Wolf.
Who?
Mela Wolf
Don't
from AZ
Wolfie.
Alkmaar.
I actually haven't
He was a replacement for
Was he? I was going to say he was the left back.
Yeah, he was the left back. Not a good signing. I think that can be an E, to be quite honest.
Angel Gomez.
Angel Gomez.
How is he getting?
The idea of Angel Gomez is better than sometimes what Angel Gomez is.
Yeah, I'd probably say that's fair.
And I feel for him. I feel for him going to a club in the relegation zone where he's maybe
That were already down by the time he went there. So.
Where maybe he's not able to show what he's actually good at. You know, he is a player for a ball dominant side.
Yeah.
Who needs to get, maybe 60, 70, 80 passes in a game.
Yeah.
And you're just not going to get that at Wolves. So the transfer alone is probably
the fact that he went to Lille and ended up getting capped for England is a remarkable achievement.
What have Lee Carsley? What have you done?
Yeah. Jackson Chachua, the right back.
Don't know.
D plus, C minus.
Yeah,
I say that more just I don't feel like I've noticed him, to be honest. Why don't we let's give them a little bit of praise then for the guy that came from their academy, Mane.
Is that a transfer?
He's a transfer from the academy. I'm trying to give him something here.
I think you can give Wolves something anyway by just saying like how good they've been in the last few months, just to kind of turn it around. It's not going to. Mane's been a part of that. Rob Edwards deserves a bit of credit here, I think.
They've gone from looking like a team that would almost you'd go for double relegation to a team now you're like, well, with Rob Edwards there, with a few solid foundational players, with the Buenos doing the business, you sort of think actually Wolves might be all right in the Championship next year. I wouldn't be surprised if they got a few good players in and came back up again.
And Strand Larsen, like the money that they did end up getting for him, I think they'll get good money for João Gomez in the summer. They'll probably get some decent money for Andre. They'll be. The problem is with Wolves is that they are. I think we say this all the time. It just feels like they get to every summer they are in financial trouble. So it'll be interesting to see how much their sales from the summer and in January, or sorry, to come this summer will help alleviate that pressure. Oh, sorry, in January with Strand Larsen and this coming summer to alleviate that pressure.
I wonder if they'll get sold. I think they've been trying to sell them for a little while.
Well,
now.
Hasn't the chairman stepped down? Or did he get out? Like a few?
Well, they're the last. Do you remember when a few clubs got bought by like Chinese ownership?
China.
They're the last. They're the last, especially in the Midlands. Actually, they're the last one of that group. Obviously, West Brom are now owned by some Americans. Okay, lads.
Samaritans.
Americans.
Oh,
that is it, fellas. Well done. Well done. Hope you guys have enjoyed that episode.
I loved it.
Bickering.
I really enjoyed it.
A little bit of bickering.
A lot of frame mogging.
A lot of frame mogging, whatever that means. Henry Hill, thank you for joining me. Where can the lovely people at home check you out?
You know what? Just go back in the back catalogue of Nothing But Football and go check out more of these videos.
Yeah,
watch every single. Sit down this Easter Sunday and watch every single 20 versus 1 fan, because I think that should take you through most of the day. So
get an Easter egg. And just crack that open.
Yeah, that's the Easter egg you need.
Yeah. And just watch Zach's 20v1s.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got some big ones coming up in the next few weeks as well. So stay tuned.
Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
I don't know why you said that either.
It's also not even the right person.
It's not. But maybe. Anyway, Ben, if you'd like, where can people check you out?
YouTube, TikTok, Only Tottenham Podcast, new group channel coming soon, which will be teased in the next few days. Me scoring an absolute belter, you'll be able to see that, and just some more just absolute fun time with the lads. So
love it.
Up Spurs.
Subscribe, like, we'll see you guys next week.
Irons.
No, not Irons.